All right. This is King Bucho. Welcome to BDA Boxing, the Boxing Debate Arena. Hope you guys are doing well. We're going to have a very important show here because we're going to be talking about His Excellency's Turki Al-Sheikh's latest comments, where he says that, he basically says that he's tired of runners. These boxers that stink out the joint, that are boring as fuck. He doesn't want to see them anymore. And, you know, someone would think that that's a great statement, which it is actually, but guess what? There's some people that disagree with him. There's some backlash. Why are some people angry at His Excellency? Well, we'll find out pretty soon. Let's go to, or shout out to everybody in the chat. Rapa's Trucking Company, the 1818. Don Madrazos, Alfredo Contreras, Team Batman Boxing, Fight Sports Talk. Who else? LES, SSC. All right, guys. Now, the format of the show is still, I'm still not sure how it's going to work. We might do an open lines. We might do like a phone lines show. We already have some people on Discord, so let's go to Discord. Yo, guys, we're live. We are live. We have BDA. We have Severino. We have Fight Sports Talk. We have Andres, who changed his name now. Tony, Yoka's Killer Instinct. And Vessel. All right, guys, welcome to the show. Let's talk about Turki Al-Sheikh and his comments. I don't know if you guys saw his tweet. If you didn't, I'm going to read it to you in 2 seconds. The tweet says, "From this point on, I don't want to see any more Tom and Jerry type boxing matches where one fighter is running around the ring and the other is chasing him. He said, we can no longer support this kind of fights with Riyadh season and the ring. We want to support fighters who leave it all in the ring and fight with heart and pride." Very powerful statement. I agree with his statement. It's a logical fucking statement, but somehow there's people that disagree with him. Yeah, and actually, I wrote down some comments of the people who disagree with him. Somebody said, "Who is this dweeb telling grown-ass boxers how to fight?" Somebody else said, "So now boxing is going to be full-out slugfests and brawls? Taking it back to the old school days? Skills and cutting off the ring means nothing anymore. We train boxers by watching rock and sock'em robots." All right, so he's basically saying that we're going to have rock and sock'em robots throwing punches like crazy, and there's no longer going to be any skills. All right, this is the type of people we're dealing with here. Rapa's Trucking Company, thank you for your super chat. He says that Turkey is bringing back quality control. Exactly, he is. He's making boxing great again. But yeah, guys, what do you think about Turkey's comments? Who wants to go first?
Well, I'll just say this. We need to wait and see how it's implemented first. Like, if they start taking points away as soon as somebody starts fighting on the back foot at all, then obviously that's way too much. But yeah, if somebody takes defensive boxing to the point where they're not engaging at all and they lose a point for it, excellent. So it's a work in progress. Let's see how it's implemented, but I think it's a good thing. We just need to make sure they don't go overboard with it.
Well, what do you mean? What would be overboard?
Overboard would be taking points away from somebody as soon as they start fighting defensively at all.
Well, what's wrong with that?
Well, obviously you can't eliminate defensive boxing completely. I guess just two examples quickly. Like when Rigondeaux fought Casemiro and he just didn't engage whatsoever, he just ran around the entire time, then obviously he should have lost several points. But let's take Hagler-Leonard, for example. When Leonard was moving around for, I think he moved around for like 2 minutes probably of most of the rounds, maybe not all, but most. and then he would engage in like small spurts in those rounds, like would he have lost points because he was moving around, but when he fought, he was fighting? Like it's just we also haven't seen somebody try to implement this, so we'll just see how it goes. I guess I can understand where some of the skeptics are coming from, but in terms of eliminating guys running away and not fighting, this is a good thing.
Okay.
Yo, PBC Sports Talk, how you doing, bro?
Yeah.
Very funny.
Did your check come in? Because my check is a little late.
No, you're good. But the Fight FST is saying that he agrees with Turkey, but he's afraid that Turkey might go overboard and start taking points away for defensive boxing, I guess. I don't understand.
Well, I guess if somebody was to fight on the back foot, what at all? Like, would we again?
Well,
if we were to reverse,
I think I don't think anybody thinks that's gonna happen. But I mean, if he does, then yeah, he's out of control. But I don't think he's. I mean, do you take a one step back and he's gonna take a point? They're gonna take a point away. Come on.
It's not because they're fighting backwards. It's because you've refused to engage.
Exactly.
There's a difference.
I mean, you can take a step back, 2 steps back, 3
you
steps
can step back, and I hate they always use the term of like hit and don't get hit. Hit and don't get hit implies that you're hitting though, so it implies that you have to engage first and then dodge the incoming blow.
Right.
These people are stupid.
Yeah, they
think that you can just pot shot your way to a victory. That's the Olympic style. That's not professional style.
Street Jesus in the chat says there will always be runners in boxing.
Wow. Yeah, there will always be, but you have to reward them.
I mean, there will always be criminals. I mean, but you still have to apply the law. And when it comes to boxing, I mean, let's weed out some of these fuckers who are ruining the sport. Let's scare them a little bit. You're gonna lose points if you fight like a bitch.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I mean, I would put this in the same similar category to taking points away for clinching. Referees don't do it enough, and they always come up with stupid reasons. They say, oh, well, clinching to an extent is a part of sport. And it's like, yeah, but not grabbing your opponent as soon as they get close and doing it like 10, 15 times in a fight is completely illegal. So, yeah, I guess I'm just saying I understand where some of the skeptics are coming from, but Turkey is addressing an important issue. We've just got to wait and see how he addresses it.
Just make the ring shorter. Make it smaller.
Some people have mentioned that, by the way. Make the ring shorter.
Just make the ring smaller.
That won't work. There's a clinching as well. It's not only running away. It's clinching, holding.
Clinching is illegal. I don't even know how they allow that.
That's another issue that Turkey has to address. Rafael Garza, thank you for super chat. He says, "Are you listening, Twitterson? Don't run versus Cepeda." That's a great point.
Who's gonna run?
That's probably what we're gonna be seeing. I mean, that's what we were expecting. But now that Sheik made this comment, maybe something's gonna change. Maybe something.
This move from the Sheik is gonna checkmate these runners and cheaters. Because here's the thing, man, the boxing public in general has been duped, hypnotized, and deceived by the notion that running around the ring for 30 seconds at a clip, like FST said about Sugar Ray Leonard. Yeah, Sugar Ray Leonard could have easily have been deducted a point. He was moving excessively and he was clinching. And that was Marvin Hagler's, people say, oh, you should learn how to cut the ring off. Well, what happens when a guy cuts the ring off and the other guy clinches? Or the other guy is moving nonstop so that even when you do pin him, he's still going to slip away. That's not boxing. That's evading the action. That's stalling, exactly.
That's stalling. That's against the rules.
Stalling. It's a form, running is a form of self-defense, but it's not a form of boxing defense. That right there is a distinction, and a lot of people out there don't seem to get it. A lot of people don't understand the rules. They don't even understand that clinching is illegal. They'll go, well, yeah. I've heard all the arguments. One of the arguments is there's a difference between clinching and holding. And somehow they try to define clinching as holding on. I mean, clinching is just grabbing a guy, and holding, it means holding on. Well, when a guy clinches, most of the time I see them holding on. And people say, yeah, that's wrestling too. How do you start to wrestle? You got to grab onto somebody. So that is wrestling. And most of the time, one of the reasons why you don't see too much excess apparent wrestling, two guys moving around the ring or dropping to the ground, is because the guy being clinched, again, like I said, the ignorance of boxing fans also applies to a lot of boxers. They don't understand that your opponent is not allowed to clinch you and you're not allowed to clinch him. So when we saw that a couple of weeks ago when Resendiz fought Caleb Plant, and he was being held, and Resendiz was trying to, use his head a little bit to create some pressure, create some distance, and the referee, Harvey Duck, warns him, goes all the way to the corner in between rounds and warns, hey, stern warning to the corner man and to the fighter, hey, I'm going to start taking points away. And Joel Diaz, or whichever Diaz was, no, not Diaz, Manny Robles, like, yeah, okay, boss, okay, boss. He's not like a slave. I mean, the trainers are supposed to know the rules too. He should have complained, bro, the guy's clinching. And I know, if the referee is really incompetent or corrupt, he's not going to do anything about it. Like Kenny Bayless with Benavidez and Caleb Plant. Jose Benavidez Jr., who was in the corner, tried to warn or tried to tell Kenny Bayless he's holding, and Kenny Bayless, he puts a hand up very obnoxiously, puts a hand up like, shut up, doesn't even look at him, keeps staring at David Benavidez. He just puts a hand up like, shut up, I'm talking. Very condescending. I'm telling you, there's a video out there of Kenny Bayless and Cotton. What's his name? Eddie Cotton, the referee. Oh, no, excuse me. I think it's Bird, the guy who's married to Adelaide Bird, one of the worst judges ever. And they're talking about the clinching. And Bailey's essentially telling David Benavidez, oh, you should quit complaining. You won. What's to complain about? We're going to dissect that video at one point because it really shows you how incompetent or corrupt some of these referees are. Kenny Bayless, we don't miss you. Get the fuck out of the sport. Get as far away from the sport as you can. We don't even watch your
he's in that game, undisputed.
Yeah, and I'm glad they made him ugly. I'm glad they uglied him up. He looks like he's got like I don't know, bloating. He's got the bubonic plague or something. I think they did that on purpose.
I don't really play that game. I don't want to play with that referee. I don't trust him, even in a video game.
He's probably to rig the game.
The point is, from this little tirade that I'm on, is that I've heard all the arguments, and most of them don't stand up under scrutiny. Now, here's the deal. I'm sounding like a cop. Here's the deal. No, but here is the story, the rundown, the lowdown, the dossier. If you want to make boxing great again, that's what people have been saying, right? I mean, Butch, I remember you were you were the first guy who you took that from the whole MAGA thing. You said, hey, why don't we apply that to boxing? To make boxing great. And then Teofimo Lopez started using it, and blah, blah, blah. But if people really want to make boxing great again, you have to deliver good fights. That's it. It's already proven. It was proven 60, 70 years ago that boxing can capture the public's imagination. It used to be one of the top 3 sports in the USA. At some point, it was the most popular sport. Behind it was derby, what's it called? Horse racing and baseball. But boxing stood at the top. Why? Because it was a sport that was respected. Because they respected the rules. And here's the thing: when they didn't respect the rules, they allowed both guys to foul. I mentioned that the example earlier in the morning when I talked about Fritz Zivik against Henry Armstrong, the first one. Henry Armstrong was being very dirty. Zivik was worried about getting disqualified if he started fouling the champ. And then in the middle of the fight, the ref said, hey, guys, if you want to fight like this, go ahead. And that's when Zivik turned it up, started being dirty too. So you can't apply the rules to one guy and not the other. Like we see in some of these instances, Stephen Farmer clinching in both fights against Cepeda. And then being warned when he's trying to...
BDA, yeah. That's a very good point, because in the second fight, Tevin Farmer clinched his way out of getting stopped twice.
Exactly.
That's insane.
And then the people try to put the onus on the fighter being clinched. Well, he should be able to get out of the hold. He is getting out of the hold eventually, but it takes about 5 seconds to do so. And a lot of these tough fighters, the way they train is they go hard 5 seconds. They go hard, and then those 5 seconds are enough for them to get a breather, and they can explode again. It's tiresome. It's deadly to the lungs. It sucks, but they can do it. Just that 5 second difference is the difference of whether you get stopped or whether you go the distance. A lot of people don't seem to understand this because not for nothing, they've never boxed before. But those 5 seconds are enough. And so when people go, well, it's up to the other guy to do something about it, by the time he has done something about it, if he's lucky that the referee doesn't warn him for trying to wrestle a guy out of a clinch, even then, he's already taken about 5-7 seconds, and that's enough for the other guy too. Now, sometimes it does tire the other guy out, the clincher. But for the most part, if these guys are professional clinchers who have perfected the ass style, then it's no skin off their back.
I think the problem is like how you quantify how much clinching is too much. Like Turkey has
you know
kind
what?
of an issue there though, because do you have like a clinch counter? Do you have a number of clinches per round? Do you have a number of clinches per fight? How do you quantify this? Or
That's
do
a
you just
great
say no
point.
clinching at all?
That's a great point, and that's what I've said before. That look, the first thing is let's open lines of dialogue to determine what is excessive and what isn't. Because if we just deny the fact that clinching is illegal and that running is illegal, then we're never going to get anywhere. But once you present the facts to people, that's when you usually corner them. Then they accept it and they go, okay, but what's excessive? What's excessive clinching? What's excessive movement? Fine. Now that you've agreed that there is such a thing as illegal running and illegal clinching, or that clinching is illegal and that running is illegal as well. Now we can determine, or we can get to the discussion of how do we determine that. And the only thing I can say about that is that we know it when we see it. Now, yes, that opens the door to corruption, because one referee may be impatient and go, oh, well, that's excessive clinching, when it's just been like, 2 clinches or whatever. I would say, and I think it was, I forget who said this. Somebody once said that it was 3 clinches per round, and after that you start getting points deducted. That's the way it should be. So in essence, you would get, yeah.
But what if he overdoes it though?
The referee?
Yeah. No, sorry, that was what FST was saying before. Like, his fear that if they start cracking down on these people that are fucking on the back foot, that maybe Turkey's gonna go crazy
but that's like what we want though. That's what boxing needs to crack down on these people.
No, I think
So
that
does he fear
eventually
like
they're
his
going
fear fighters won't
to.
get?
Go ahead.
Sorry, go on.
No, go ahead.
Well, can I say this? Can I say this? We'll cross that bridge when we get there. How about that?
No, exactly, man. What the fuck, man? Anyways, go ahead, Severino.
No, what's about to say is, I think with the clinching is really a thin line. I'm not defending it by any means, but you can clinch off side of desperation. I think that's the only way I can excuse it. If you're trying to like desperately to survive, but it's like if it's like part of your strategy, like these homo fighters nowadays, they clinch and you can see they actually trying to like hug your fucking hip. It's fucking disgusting. Like I think that's like the one thing they have to like. I think that's like the one thing they have to remove for like boxing. But like, and also the excessive running. I think that's like the most like disgusting part of it. Like when Devin Haney clinched ran against Ramirez, Shakur Stevenson has a lot of his fights. Like clinching is a little bit more. Yeah. Yeah, he literally ran, man. I remember.
He just ran.
I remember seeing like some shorts. Like he actually like jumped away.
I think it's pretty simple. You apply the no more than 3 clinches per round, and you shorten the ring. You make it smaller. I think you'll have way better fights.
I don't know, man.
But you have to do something.
Even the small ring doesn't help.
Sometimes. I think they just they just have to publicly shame these fighters, man.
I don't think that happens.
It doesn't work for them though, because it doesn't work for them, bro. It doesn't work.
The thing is, like, if you let these highlight watchers tell you the story, man, all these fucking they're not young anymore because they're like pushing 30 right now. So like these grown ass kids, they're gonna tell you like the last things, the best things is last breath, and it's not really the case. When the most part, like those guys that just watch like their highlights, they don't really watch like the whole fight.
Well, you know what? The interesting thing about that is, shout out to Boxing Sicario, who says, out of the Gold Coast Convention Center.
Ringside, Gold Coast Convention Center.
You never see any hijinks. You never see any hijinks at the convention center. So shout out to him.
What?
You never see anything, any hijinks out of the
Gold Coast Convention
Center.
All right. Yeah. No, you're right. All right, we got a super chat here. All right. We have Mars Boxeo with a super chat. He says, BDA, the home of boxing, man. That's right. The home of boxing. All right, guys, if you just got in here, we're talking about the Sheik's latest comments where he says that he's tired of all these back foot bitches. All right. He says we can no longer support these kind of fights. No more running around the ring. And guess what? There's people that actually disagree with him. They actually disagree with him. And I have some more comments. Somebody wrote on Twitter, you can't control how boxers fight to win. We all want a good scrap, but unfortunately, it's not in your gift to decide how a fighter comes in. It's not in your gift to decide how a fighter comes in.
But see, that's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You have to frame it within the context of if they're breaking the rules, then of course you can dictate how they fight. You can dictate that they don't break the rules and then they actually display boxing skill. Running around the ring is not a form of boxing skill. It's a form of self-defense. It's not boxing defense.
Exactly.
It's
the
self-defense.
rules.
But turning your back against somebody is a form of, it's forbidden in boxing because it's against the rules. Because you're
Is
putting
clinching
But by
part
the
of
way,
boxing defense?
What's that?
Is clinching part
Excessive
of boxing
clinching is
defense?
not part of
No.
boxing.
Okay, then why should it even be allowed?
It shouldn't be allowed. They allow it a little bit. So
I
it
think
depends on the referee.
the thing is, I think it's because I think we witnessed like when the boxers start like worry down. I think it was like between the mix of the Mayweather era and the and a lot of influence of Andre Ward.
Vladimir was the worst about it. He was even worse than Floyd. We've been honest.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
definitely, yeah.
He got away with it.
Yeah, because I think, man, he turned the heavyweight division so weak that he allowed Mayweather to be a fucking thing.
Yeah.
The thing about this, Bucho, is boxing is an influencer sort of carnival act that masquerades as a sport. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So ultimately, rules exist to protect the investment. So what will happen is that right now we have a meta where the A side is allowed to run, and it's going to be very difficult for this to stop because the business model is built around being an influencer. So the audience doesn't particularly care if they because they're into it for soap opera related reasons.
Yeah, but if Turkey starts to be the one in control,
he can try. This is what I wanted to speak out to you about.
Yeah.
Are any of you familiar with this? Is a combat sports organization from, let's say, 15, 20 years ago called Yama Pit Fighting. Does anyone here know what that is?
No.
Yeah, that was an MMA event with Mark Kerr.
Okay.
It was created by one of the founders of UFC, a guy, Marowitz, I think was his name. But the reason it was created is they didn't like that UFC was being dominated by grappling JJ specialists at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So they tried to create an event that disadvantaged taking your opponent to the ground. So they had special rules that they came up with. They had a special ring that supposedly would incentivize you to stand up and strike.
Mm-hmm.
And can you guess what happened?
No. What happened?
And they just took the guy to the ground and did BJJ. And this is my prediction for all these things. Entropy is a very powerful force. We have a meta right now. We have a certain financial incentive. And I don't think Turkey is going to be able to do anything.
But what's the incentive again? To keep these fighters?
Yeah, actually, I don't believe that because what is the incentive?
keep
Hey, you
these
can't sell a
fighters from
chicken wing
losing.
dinner, bro.
Well, keep the fighters from losing at this point. I don't think it's
Yeah,
that attractive.
I mean, Shakur
anymore.
can't even sell in his hometown, dude. He doesn't sell anywhere.
How many undefeated boxers do we have right now? Now it's become
Too many of them.
pretty common. Yeah,
Everyone
exactly.
is undefeated.
It has diluted the whole idea of having an aura of invincibility because there's just so many of them.
Yeah, but they keep attracting investments, though. That's the thing.
I don't think
it's clearly the business
maybe,
model
maybe.
is clearly working for someone. if they keep getting money from
Maybe
this.
they're wrong. Maybe
I
they think it's working and it's not working because look at where boxing is. It's in the fucking sewers.
Exactly.
So I think this, maybe these promoters, they think that it's going to work or that it's working, but it's not. That's the problem. See, they don't see the problem.
I'll give you an example.
Exactly.
I'll give you an example. I keep saying that. Well, okay, you want to read the super chat?
Well, you're going to read super chat. Keep going. Hyperspace, thank you for your super chat. He says, after the antics last weekend from DB3, what the fuck's DB3?
That's Keisha and Davis family, the three brothers.
Okay,
Keon,
DB3.
Calvin, IKEA.
We need to revisit the fruit basket incident. Would you put it past these guys to set the trash up?
No.
It's true.
In fact, we talked about it when it happened. Thunderdome, us, well, a bunch of us talked about how that there was a very fishy what happened there. Very fishy. The fact that they didn't even seem all that intent on investigating it and finding out who sent it. And then Teofimo Lopez posted a video of him laughing about it. And people jumped to the conclusion, oh, he did it. He did it. Why? Well, because he's laughing. I mean, a bunch of people laughed. Does that mean they were behind it? It was just a completely farcical situation.
Yeah.
But shout out to Hyperspaz and everybody else.
He makes a lot of sense. Obviously, the fruit basket incident, it was them. They probably did it. They probably did it. I'm going to say probably.
That's where I'm. Yeah, that's what I'm.
Yeah, I'm going to say
that's
probably.
Where I'm. But that's the thing. But shout out to Hyperspaz and all the other people who have contributed so far, and everybody who's in the chat. Don't forget to hit the like.
Hit the like. Yeah, go ahead. Who was going to say?
Yeah, somebody was going to say something, or
I was gonna say like it doesn't matter about the zero thing because there's no next Canelo in line. Where's the next Canelo? Show me him. Where's the next big money star?
It doesn't exist currently. Someone will pop up. It always happens.
Exactly. Yeah. Nobody could tell you in 29. Oh, where's Canelo? I mean, he just showed up out of nowhere, right? There's gonna be.
Yeah, he showed up and he started dominating, right? Like.
Yeah, but nobody was saying, oh, this is gonna be the. Well, at some point they were started to say maybe he's gonna be the guy, but again, you can't find him right now because he's hiding.
Okay,
but superstars have a tendency to spontaneously appear. Like they are created very quickly.
Yeah.
When
the boxing messiah is Messiah is out there somewhere. He's out there somewhere.
I mean, Tony Young will be the one. I keep saying this.
Would you stop it, Tony?
Well, in Dune, what was it fucking called?
Messiah? What? Messiah. What was it?
Lisa Al-Gaib.
Lisa Al-Gaib. All right, we're gonna.
I watch Tony Yoka fights and say this over and over again, moving my head back and forth like a crazy person.
Hey, Andreas actually sounds like the guy from Dune, the Spanish actor. What's his name?
Javier Bardem.
Javier Bardem. You actually sound like him. I don't know. I
mean, I am from the same ethnicity. So.
There you go. Yeah, you do. I bet you look like him too. But I was gonna say, boxing starts from the found.
It's him.
He's like, I don't.
Yeah,
it's just him.
Boxing starts the aesthetically pleasing aspect of boxing starts when you apply the rules, right? And if you don't apply them, like I said earlier, if you don't apply them, then you should not apply them across the board, meaning let both guys be dirty. And then it might turn into a sloppy but fun fight because at least both guys get to be dirty. But you cannot apply it to one guy and then not the other because then that creates disequilibrium, which in part creates most of the time aesthetically displeasing fight. That's my argument. And I'll give you a couple of examples. A lot of boxers don't even know what they're capable of. They're self-limiting in what they can accomplish. I'll give you an example. Oshaki Foster, when he fought Rocky Hernandez, he was fighting in Mexico, right? And Oshaki Foster is one of the preeminent fighters when it comes to the ass style, the American slick style, which means either leaping around the ring like a rabbit, running around the ring, clinching, and or dipping below the waist, and then clinching. He's one of the guys that does that. When he was doing it with Rocky Hernandez, he was leaping back until he could no longer leap back because his back would touch the ropes, and then he would go for the clinch. Rocky Hernandez was not working him. Then the referee said, hey, no more clinching, I'm going to take a point away, which then forced Oshaki Foster to fight back because he had no choice anymore. And what happened? Turned into a fun fight, and he actually ended up winning. But if he would have been allowed to continue clinching, he would have lost the decision. So sometimes you just got to bite down and fight back. Because if you're somewhere where the referee and the judges are not gonna reward your ass style, you're up shit's creek with no paddle. And like I said, let's not forget that it was a very aesthetically pleasing fight because they applied the rules.
I think that ass style only works if you're the A side.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, of course.
That's
All
why a
right,
lot of these guys don't want to go
BDA,
to yes.
the comment I was reading to you, the tweet or the X post, or whatever they fucking call it now. I didn't finish it. The guy says messages like these start to make you look like a bit controlling. Make the fights. Accept some might be shit.
Why you guys hating on the slick style, bro?
This isn't power slap. That's what he said. So he's like, accept there's gonna be shitty fights. You know, just focus on that. That's your job. Don't call out the bullshit.
So the guy.
Keep quiet. Well, amazing.
So the guy's spending millions. So the guy is spending millions on a product. He wants to get a return. To the product. He's not allowed to apply the rules.
No,
These
exactly,
dudes who don't even know the rules, by the way. These random ass fuckers on Twitter that don't even know the rules.
He's paying for these fighters, and he's not allowed to tell the fighters, "Hey, put on a good fight for the fans." He's not allowed to say that. This guy's complaining about it.
But it's not even
Twitter. What the fuck is his problem?
It's not even that, Butcher. It's not even that. He's not telling them, "Hey, take more risks." What he's saying is, you're not allowed to run in clinch because it's against the rules. He's in the right. He's absolutely in the right.
He's asking the boxers to box, and that's crazy.
Yeah,
exactly. Imagine a guy going.
That's a revolutionary statement.
It's revolutionary. Yeah.
It's a revolutionary.
Yeah.
It's what would you call it? Like a revelation.
It's out of this world. It's never been seen before. How dare he? Kill him. You know what I mean? That's what they're thinking, these fuckers.
Kill him.
Like they're the Sanhedrin. Yeah, they're like they want to go after Jesus. They're going after Jesus, you know. And here's the other thing:
he's here to save us.
Turkey,
he's here to save boxing, and we're trying to kill him. Go ahead, BDA.
Let his blood be on the hands of our children. No, listen. The thing about the sheik, the thing about the sheik is he's just applying the rules. That's the thing. And listen to the hyperbole of that statement. The guy goes, "This isn't power slap." Well, of course not. You got to resort to hyperbole to make your point, your shitty point. That's not. Listen. Boxing is a combat sport. Yes, it's a sport, but it also involves combat, meaning you got to score punches to win. And if you're running around the ring for 30 seconds of a clip, landing a little tap and then clinching and then rinse and repeat, that's not boxing. You're evading the action. And that's against the rules, and that's what makes the sport so shitty, because it's been listen, think about it. These guys have been allowing that because they don't know about the rules. They've been allowing back foot bitches and ass fighters for about a good 15 years, minimum 50 years. Look at what the sport's now. You want to save Boston?
Shambles, bro. Look at Top Rank.
The fact that you guys are hating on the slick style right now makes me know that Turk doesn't know shit about boxing himself. You know, fighters like Willie Pep and fighters like Gene Tooney, who beat
okay, you don't even know shit yourself, bro, because go watch Willie Pep. Go watch Willie Pep and shut the fuck up for a second. He always engaged. Willie Pep was great at engaging because he wanted to draw in because he was a defensive counterpuncher.
You just don't like that footwork, man. You want to blame it.
You're just
retarded. You want to blame it on the back foot fighter, bro. But
you just
the guy on the front foot should take some responsibility and learn how to cut the ring off.
That's not how that works. I don't even know who.
That is how it works, bro. That is how it works.
You're trying to cut out a whole ring off the other person clinches, then you can't cut the ring off anymore.
Man,
but this guy on the front foot isn't being effective aggression, bro. He's not using effective.
When I hear you talk, you say the most retarded shit.
All right.
I'm not saying it retarded shit at all. If anybody's sounding retarded, it's you, bro.
Literally every time I hear you talk, you say something stupid.
BDA.
Hold on. Telkans, I have a hard time believing that you fight in the ass style. I can't picture it. I really can't picture you ever fighting a boxing match in the ass style.
Yeah, you're a come forward fighter.
I'm slick and powerful, bro. I'm slick and powerful. I develop all styles, bro. But here's the thing. I respect all the styles. I don't have styles biased like Turkey Al-Sheikh. I understand that there's different styles of fighting, and he's trying to erase a whole entire style.
He's applying the rules. He's applying the rules. He's making it he's making it fair by applying the rules, and you don't like that. You want guys to continue cheating.
Yeah, if the rules are legal style, then your style is illegal, bro.
So okay, hold on, Telkins, you're okay with a fighter like Shakur Stevenson running around the ring, like he did against the Los Santos? You're saying it's his style, so respect it.
If you don't like his style, don't watch his fight. That's all what I say.
Fair enough. You don't watch his style, but you don't think he should be criticized? Because that's what
Not
Turkey's
at all.
doing.
Not
Turkey's
at all. That's
criticizing
just a
him.
style of fighter that's been around for over 100 years.
All right.
So because it's been around for a long time, that makes it okay. That's the
Lawrence
logic here.
Johnson agrees with
Well,
Pelkins.
Butcho, could I throw something in here about
No.
how that
Yes,
Devin
go
Haney
ahead.
fight?
All right, go ahead.
Well, I think the Devin Haney Ramirez fight could have been saved from being as boring as it was if the referee just kept telling Haney, "Hey, don't grab hold of him like that. If you keep doing it, I'm going to take points away." Because Devin could have lost 1 or 2 points in that fight easily. So, if the referee had simply done that, Devin would have had to fight more. So, there's no running rule, as I said earlier before I had to dip off for a bit. It makes sense, of course, but again, just as long as they're not too crazy about it. But I think a lot of this could be solved if the referees just did their job when it came to excessive clinching.
Well, can I say something about that? Warnings may deter a fight. It may scare a fighter into stopping and halting the cheating, maybe. But at the end of the day, eventually, warnings are ineffective if the referee keeps warning and warning and warning and never takes a point away. Case in point, the Guido Vianello versus Torres fight. The referee was very adroit at quickly deducting a point early in that fight. I believe he was in the third round. He was very assertive about it. It's like, hey, made eye contact with the fighter, stopped the action and said, "You're clinching 1 point, stop doing it." So that happened in the third round. And then we saw another 7 rounds of clinching, and we no longer saw any point deductions. So I couldn't help but think, what was the point of warning him and taking the point away? And in other words, saying, if you continue this, you're going to get disqualified eventually. But then he stopped warning him, and he's still deducting points. So what was the whole?
These referees are afraid of disqualifying, and
I think so. Yeah, you're
they
right.
won't get called up again, basically.
That is exactly the problem. I mean, Caleb Plant against David Benavidez, Maris Breidis against Mike Perez, Vladimir Klitschko several times in his career, Lawrence Okolie. These referees they're scared to do their jobs, and it may suck because it may have to happen during a title fight, but if fighters start getting disqualified for excessive clinching, a la Henry Akinwande against Lennox Lewis, who was a title challenger, then it sucks. We may miss out on a fight, but that's the only way you can penalize these guys is you actually, because referees, they, like you say, BDA, they keep saying they're going to do it, but none of them actually do anything. So you just got to start doing it. And I think it's a lot easier to manage excessive clinching than it is to manage running, personally.
Yeah, and the Hand of History, History Vault says this change by Turkey also lowers the chance of rigged fights. It's possible.
And by the way, Butcher, you made an excellent point, man, about take a look at who is rallying against the Sheik. It's people who don't purchase the fights.
Yeah,
it's people that don't purchase the fights. I hate to get into it, but it's the truth too. A lot of these people, they all they do on Twitter all day long, I'm looking at their feeds, is race this, race that. It's a racial discussion more than a boxing discussion. So they don't purchase the fights. It's all about race instead of talking about the actual sport. And now they're rallying against the guy who's trying to make the sport better by applying the rules. And Butcher, you made the excellent point.
Yeah.
Why are these people contributing to the sport? they actually want to make it worse.
Provide is chaos. Complaining about no. You got to keep on these boring boxers. Do not criticize these boring boxers. They're okay. Look at the state of boxing. It's in like I said earlier, it's in the sewers. So something has to change. But these guys don't want any change.
They don't even support their own fighters, bro. They don't support their own fighters. Haney can't sell out his own town. Shakur can't sell out his own town. These people can't sell out where they're from, bro.
They can't. No, but it's fine. No, everything's fine. Everything's fine. Don't criticize them. I'm not gonna buy the fights. I'm not gonna support the sport. But Turkey, I don't even buy your pay-per-views. I don't buy anything. But guess what? Don't you dare criticize boxers that are fucking boring. Don't you dare do that. It's like, shut the fuck up.
You're not make it a race thing every single time.
Tank Davis, who's supposed to be the biggest American star right now, he can't even get past 200,000 pay-per-view buys. So these people are not buying his pay-per-views, which I've argued before. That's why a lot of these guys are content with what happens in the ring or what doesn't happen in terms of action because they're not paying for any of this. So it's fine if the fight sucks.
The fights, I bet.
Yeah, that's true. Thunderdome made that point a long time ago.
I'll tell you what, BDA.
All right.
I'll tell you what, BDA. I'll follow the no running rule, right? As long as he implements the no running rule outside the ring as well. No ducking. That's what I'm more concerned with. The ducking.
That's a good point. That's a good point, Heinz. Listen,
Well,
you get it right. You get it right on the money.
Well, that's a tricky one because what do? Hold a gun to somebody's head saying you better take this fight?
Yeah, that's what they should do, man, or blow their fucking head off and get them out of the sport. Just throw them in the trench somewhere.
Well,
That's actually the most sane thing you said today.
Lauren Johnson in the chat says, what happened to cutting off the ring? This is a comment I keep seeing all over the place here on social media. Cutting off the ring. So don't criticize the guy who's running. Criticize his opponent who's unable to cut the ring off. What do you guys think about that?
No, because once they cut off the ring, then they get clinched.
Exactly.
Loma cut off the ring as soon as he got close, and he clinched him.
You know how you beat the slick fighter, right? You use Muay Thai tactics against those fuckers.
Yeah, but
that's all you gotta do, bro.
We're talking about boxing.
Use some Thai boxing, bro. Use some Thai boxing on it.
That's the problem that we were talking about earlier. That disequilibrium in boxing, because the clincher is allowed to clinch, but then the guy who starts getting a little bit dirty to try to get away from the clinch, he gets penalized. Case in point, Benavides versus Caleb Plant. Case in point, Evan Farmer versus William Cepeda. The first fight, Farmer is clinching. There's a point in the third or fourth round, I believe, where Cepeda tries to shake him off of him, and the referee warns him about it. So unless, that's why I keep saying, either apply the rules across the board or don't apply them at all and allow both guys to be dirty. Once you start favoring one guy, and allow him to clinch and not the other, that makes it an uneven fight and therefore an aesthetically displeasing fight.
By the way, Lawrence Johnson in the chat says Lawrence Johnson says Haney fought Loma in the pocket. Yeah, Haney, he didn't really run that much in that fight. He was on the back foot. Okay, but what happened in that fight? He lost the fight.
Exactly.
He lost. And Loma, he lost the fight. So that's what happens. Even if you don't think he lost the fight, you thought he won, you have to agree that it was a close fight. So why was it a close fight? Because Haney wasn't on the back foot like a bitch. Or he couldn't do it, or he didn't do it, whatever, but he wasn't fighting like that. So that's what happens with these boxers.
Also, he was fighting Lomachenko. I mean, nobody gets a clear win over Loma except Tio, but even that fight was very close at some points. But yeah, this cutting off the ring thing. I mean, BDA, you didn't like that I criticized William Cepeda for not being able to cut off the ring against a washed up Tevin Farmer. So yeah, if you've got basic footwork and you can't cut off the ring, then that's a problem. But at the same time, if guys are able to sprint around the ring like Usain Bolt, like people should look this up. Look up Huey Fury against Joseph Parker. The amount of running he did in that fight was insane, and he was never penalized once. If guys are able to run around the ring and not get penalized for it, then you can be the greatest. You can have the greatest ring control of all time, but you'll eventually get tired just chasing the guy.
But Fight Sports Talk, I mean, in regards to the Cepeda Farmer rematch, we have to go back to that discussion then, that Cepeda was cutting the ring off. He was cornering Farmer and putting him on the ropes. And what did Farmer do to get out of that? Clinching. So again, that's what Vessel was saying earlier. When people say, well, you should cut the ring off. Well, okay, what happens when the fighter A cuts the ring off and then fighter B starts clinching?
Yeah, at that point, it's no longer boxing. Now it's another type of sport you're making.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Devin Haney against Ramirez. Every time Ramirez got remotely close, Haney was grabbing him like an octopus. So yeah, no, I agree with that. I mean, you got to.
Then you just prove your own point, brother.
But so that's my point, is that the referee should apply the rules across the board so that we can avoid having this discussion in the first place. That's the answer. It's simple.
By the way, applying the rules, changing the rules. Hold on, I want to clarify something here. Turki did he ever mention that he's planning on changing the rules or anything like that?
No,
he didn't say it.
They're applying something, or telling the judges to do something different, or the judges or the referee.
Yeah, applying the rule is contractual, actually. Like let's just say you signed a fight, right? He's gonna put that in a clause in the contract.
I mean, I don't know. I think the rules are the rules. No?
I don't know what the fuck that means. The rules are the rules. Yeah, you can't say, hey, we're going to have special rules for this match. First of all, they're using the BBOC, so I'm not too familiar with their standards. But in the United States, for example, they use the State Association of State Athletic Commissions. And, you know, the rules are across the board with the IBA, the WBA, and all that. No clinching, no running, because that's a way of avoiding and stalling the fight. And it is a fight. It's a sport, but at the end of the day, it's a combat sport. It's not, you can't, and that's the other thing. I hear people saying, well, it takes skill to clinch. Well, of course it takes skill to be a bank robber. It takes skill to be a cat burglar.
It just happens to not be a skill that's boxing, though, right? It's not
exactly. You're breaking the law, and if you're clinching and hitting behind the head and hitting in the ball, the hip, or dipping below the waist, and you do it well, congratulations, you're good at cheating. But that's not allowed in boxing. It's as simple as that. People just don't seem to want to get it.
Rabbit punching, for the record.
There you go. Yeah.
All right,
it's the one thing that pisses me off. It's the one thing that pisses me off more than anything in the sport.
David Morrell, right? Against that dude he almost killed.
Yeah.
Not only that, Pritchard Cologne.
All right. Guys, don't forget to hit the like button. It really helps the show. Hit the like, or we're gonna fucking end this. All right. Who else is there?
Wait, Bucho. Nobody talk until we hit 100 likes. How about that?
How many likes do we have? Oh, let me check. I have to refresh my browser.
Me too, man. Yeah, what the fuck? YouTube used to show you it used to update it on the spot. Now you gotta refresh it.
43 likes.
It's
no, that's unacceptable. Unacceptable.
Well, you don't know it now. I'm moving Carl until 100 likes.
I should have just ended, man.
We should just end it now. Not even give him a chance to hit the like. I mean, because at this point it's ridiculous. 47 likes.
60.
No.
Let's get to 60.
I've seen Gooner content with more likes. Come on, guys. What are you guys doing?
I've seen hidden playlists with people torturing kittens on YouTube, and they get more likes than this. This is unacceptable. I wanted to say this. Shout out to Bray. Come on. I was kidding around. No, but I saw there was a conspiracy theory about that there was this secret playlist of people.
No, it's true though. It's true though. Now? It's true.
All right.
I don't know. But anyway, real quick, shout out to Bray because we reposted a tweet of his on 7 hours ago. He said, the hit not get hit sweet science boxing hipsters are so annoying. You can tell they haven't been watching the sport for that long. See, I agree with that because these are usually the same type of people that they're the same type of people that go, Lopez was never undisputed because he didn't have one. He liked one belt. Like, okay, now I know you've been watching boxing. Did you start watching it within the last 5 or maybe being generous 10 years? Because they think that WBO is somehow a valid belt. When it was considered a joke.
It is now, but
it was considered like a joke belt for the longest time.
Yeah. And then they go, sorry, excuse me, let me just finish. He says, no one is saying you can't box on the back foot. A fighter skipping around the ring, refusing to engage isn't boxing, you fucking dweebs. I mean, I don't understand how in what other way you can say it.
It's well said.
There was the one fight that I think of with Lennox Lewis where he won by DQ because of excessive clinching. I can't ever think of a fight that was ever called off because of excessive clinching, and if the rules say that if you clinch excessively, you will get disqualified, why did that only ever happen maybe once in a title fight,
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, if they were applying the rules, we would see more of that. But like Bucho said, I think a lot of these refs don't want to do that because then it leaves the people dissatisfied. But at the end of the day, what's more dissatisfying? A guy getting DQ'd or a guy continuing to break the rules and it makes it a boring fight?
How do you know they don't have a parlay BDA?
Maybe. You never know.
Is there a way for Turkey to get his own refs?
Probably not.
Yeah, Turkey should make his own referee committee.
Only in Saudi Arabia, I bet.
They should have
the commissions,
The problem is they have no real commission over there in Saudi Arabia, so where are you going to start at?
Special guest referee, Roy Jones. Something like that.
Tim Bradley.
Oh, come on.
You're trying to stink out the joint, bro?
Actually, I would like Mike Tyson.
I see no issue. I see no issue with Turkey saying no more Tom and Jerry fights just because, historically, think of how many times a promoter behind closed doors said, hey, if you don't fight, you're not getting, the full, paycheck, basically. I feel like you could think of so many times in the past where, you look back at all the fights where there was action all throughout. Even if it was an average fight, there was still high punch output. And it's like, you know for a fact, you don't need written proof that promoter said, hey, like, you got to give these fans a fight or else it's no dice in the future,
Yeah. Well, Bray in the chat, Turkey's not telling them how to fight. He's telling those fighters they can fight somewhere else, just not on his cards. And it's true. That's what I was asking earlier. Is Turkey saying that he's gonna change the rules or be more strict on boxers. No, he never said anything. He just said
that means all the slick fighters are gonna go to PBC like Tio, bro.
no, they don't have money. And okay, if they go over there, who cares? That's good.
I'm pretty sure they're going to be supported, right, guys, over there by their fans.
Is what?
They're going to be supported by their fans over there, right?
Oh,
the PBC
yeah,
shows.
oh yeah, they're going to be selling all these pay-per-views.
And then it's not going to be like half-empty stadiums.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's a good idea. You have the PBC with all the slick boxers, and then you have Turkey with all the exciting boxers. Let's see who wins.
Well, in Turkey wants to bring back, the glory days of boxing where there was amazing fights, even average fights were pretty decent. And that's just not going to happen by playing nice. That's going to happen by making some big changes in terms of how the fighters fight, when the fighters fight, what they're fighting for. Like, that's all going to have to change big time, because if boxing wants to go back to its glory days, quote unquote, we're a very far ways away from that. So big ass changes are going to have to happen. Like, Tom and Jerry fights, as he put it.
Right. Now, so far, he's only made a statement, nothing else, and people are already freaking out, calling him a.
Did you see the other statement
dictator.
he made of like the people who wants in the Canelo undercard? He picked a lot of good fighters, to be honest.
No, I didn't see. What's the undercard again?
He wants these certain fighters. He's calling them out: Junto Nakatani, Christian Mbili, Muhammad Alaki, Rito Tatsumi, Justin Villa. He wants like Abdullah Mason. Like he wants fighters to have KOs, that come show up to fight.
Smart.
He's like, these are the people I want.
Yeah, and in a way, he's sending a message, right?
Abdullah Mason, he's gonna get knocked the fuck out in his next fight.
Abdullah Mason.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter.
Like, he's gonna get knocked out.
Because Sam Noakes is a no fucking joke, bro. Sam Noakes is gonna knock his ass spark the fuck out. Mark my word.
Okay. Well, maybe, I don't know. I don't know.
It doesn't matter. That's gonna be an exciting fight.
Yeah, I don't even know much, but Abdullah Mason, he's an exciting boxer so far. I'm not gonna shit on him. He might get knocked out, maybe. I don't know.
Cleveland. I mean, I like Cleveland boxers, so yeah. Yeah, I think he's all right, but I think he's not on the level of Sam Noakes.
All right. Well, let's keep talking about this Turkey's comments. All right. So Telkins disagrees. He says that you shouldn't tell boxers how to fight. We don't want their style to disappear, right? To go extinct. We have other people
Things that are not effective go extinct. Animals that are not effective go extinct. Those who evolve continue to live.
Interesting. Good point.
Right, you either adapt or you die.
I want to hear what Gonzalo has to say. I don't know if he's there or he's working. He's probably working.
He's gooning Gonzalo.
Well, anyways.
As long as the PBC is around Vessel 369, as long as the PBC is still around, you'll see the slick style, I promise you.
Well,
hopefully it's not around anymore. It continues dying like it's fucking dying now.
Minus in the chat says
they'll find another platform.
Let's stop defending these runners, please. Lawrence Johnson says Shakur has bad hands, fragile. Well, then he should stop boxing. How's that? All right, guys, hit the like.
Yeah, maybe Shakur should go to the PBC too, right?
You keep talking about the PBC as if they have any money or any. They don't even have a network.
Yeah. Bro, they put on 2-3 shows a year, bro. What are you saying?
Exactly.
Yeah, and Turkey al-Sheikh is really shit at putting things together. He has the big picture, which looks good, right? But he's not taking the fundamental steps to get there efficiently.
You're crazy, man.
Nigga, he crazy.
Bro, he's put on the best cards we've had like recently. What are you talking about?
I mean, he has good robbery fights, He's good at discriminating against certain styles. I even reached out to him on X today. and I told him how shit of a job he's doing, bro. So
I'm pretty sure he cares in his fucking multi-million mansion, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
I'm sure he cared.
he doesn't know shit about boxing other than two brawlers meeting together in the middle of the ring.
All right, tell guys, what would you do if you were the Sheik? If you had his money and you had the power that he has, what would you do differently?
I would create tournaments, bro. I would create open weight tournaments. That's what I would do.
This guy's retarded,
I
bro.
want to see these pound for pound fighters put their money where their mouth is. If Bud thinks he's better than Usyk, let him fight Usyk. For example, that's what I want to do.
What's his name, Lucho? What's his name?
Telekines?
Telekines. They put the crack pipe down when you talk to me, bro. Real talk. What the fuck, man?
Telekines wants to create like a Pride Grand Prix tournament. You know?
Yeah, he wants to have like a Dragon Ball Z tournament, like, you know, when they just fight each other from all over the world.
I mean, he has all the fucking money, man, and he's willing to drop money into stupid fights like Canelo versus Crawford. So let's go all the way out, bro. We got all the money. Let's put together.
All right, guys, we're not going.
He should have a 100 human versus gorilla fight.
Yeah, exactly. Let's get somebody else in here. Gonzalo, can you jump in? I don't even know. I don't think so. All right,
here.
Severino.
Yeah, go ahead. Gonzalo. Can you talk, man, or what?
Yeah, I can talk.
Give us your thoughts on
sure?
Turkey's comments. Turkey. I don't know if you heard what he said. Or you read what he said.
No, I've been listening to the show, but
okay. He said basically of boxers that are running around the ring. He says we don't need that. It's not good for the sport. We want fighters that have heart. You know, basically come to fight. And then there was a backlash. You know, there was backlash. A lot of people are saying, "Oh no, what are you talking about? You can't criticize these boxers that run. It's not their fault. It's the fault of their opponents who can't cut off the ring." Blah blah blah. What do you think?
Well, I mean, he's put up a few cards where he hasn't had maybe the result that he's been expecting. Granted, he's tried to put the best versus the best, but you know, like for example, the City of Wolves card, it just it totally flopped. Nobody performed. He pays him well, and they just look to get the win at any means possible to survive and keep that on and fight another day, like with an undefeated record. But that doesn't make boxing entertaining, you know, because they're just looking to survive. So if he's forking out all this money to make the sport popular again, and this is what he's getting, well, he's probably realized to himself that he needs to change it up. And whatever he does, he's on the right track because somebody has to do it, right? And I think he's the man to do it.
I think he is. I think he's the chosen one. We talked about it. He's what the prophecy talked about. And, you know, he just made a statement that we've been making for a lot of people have been making for a long time. I mean, we don't want these boxers that all they do is run around the ring. It's fucking boring. And even the crowd, look at how the crowd reacts sometimes. You know, they boo these fucking fighters. So this isn't a personal opinion from Turkey.
They leave early.
These are the people that. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. The people in the crowd that are booing are people who actually got up from. They moved their fat asses, went to the fucking fight. They paid, you know, and they have the right to complain. You, on the other hand, don't buy the fights. Don't do fucking shit. You're fat as well. You're fat. Don't buy the fights, and you're complaining. You know, because Turkey is making saying that, you know what, you know, I want the fighters that I'm paying to be a little bit more exciting. Oh no, God forbid, he says that.
How are we doing, gents? How are we doing?
What's that? Oh, it's
How are we doing? Now then, he's come out with this. He's come out with this statement, but the thing is, how is he going to implement a way to weed, you know, those sort of boxers out? I mean,
it's really simple. He's just not going to hire them for the show, bro.
Sorry?
It's really simple. He's just not going to hire them for the show. His statement, and for the follow-up statement of who he wants to see in the Canelo undercard, just proves what he's going for.
He needs these fighters at well, let's okay, for this, let's finish your point.
or he's not going to pay them as handsomely the next time round. Because the way boxing's structured,
I'm not sure how.
Bucho, do you really need Shakur in a fight?
Those guys, the way boxing's structured, those guys will still get a shot because they'll be, next in command. They'll be the contenders because you can still win. It's all right him saying, I won't put you on my show, but he's not the be or an end. Personally, I don't think Turkey's done a good job, personally. I'm one of them people that think he hasn't done a good job. If why hasn't he got Tank on any of his shows? Why hasn't he been able to lure his?
Yeah, I don't know why you guys hold these people in such high regard. These guys can sell anything; they're not important.
Why is Tank specifically the fighter you want?
But I actually think they need to change the rules with boxing, as in you're only allowed to say touch the ropes so many times in the fight. Say a boxer in a round, for instance, so he's only allowed to touch the ropes, say once or twice or whatever, because that's easy to detect. And if
the rules are
to keep them in the ring, keep them more central and more engaged in the fight, not running on the periphery as much.
Right.
Something has to happen.
But being on the rope, sometimes
the rules are fine.
I don't know.
I know, but how is he going to change? You can't say to boxers, I'm not going to put you on a show. You're not next in line because you're a runner. Dude, I invented back foot bitch, fucking saying. I hate them. But how are you going to eradicate them? You can't just say you're not going to box.
He will take a monopoly on it, and then they'll have nowhere to go.
By the way, it's true. You did come up with that term, back foot bitching. Now that I think about it, maybe somebody else, but I think you said it first.
Unless when it comes to the points, you don't give them the win. That's the only way to weed them out. If you run at loads, they need to change the scoring system. There's something needs to happen. You can't just say you guys are not going to be on the show. No, that's a bit dumb. You have to implement something that actually stops it.
I will say they're not going to be in the show then. Damn it.
Enforcing the rules a lot more.
Okay, I can understand saying, Shakur, I'm not going to put you in my card, but at the same time, let's say Shakur has a belt or two belts. He needs to be on his cards, right? If you have other boxers,
you can't just. They're next in line. You can't say no. You're not fighting. You said no.
Well, that's what we have to put into. That's what we have to put into perspective that this is an entertainment sport and this is not like a governmental job or something like that. If you're boring and nobody wants to hire you, bro, oh goddamn well, you already made like $20 million off like that ESPN deal. So fuck that. Fuck you.
Yeah.
What he's saying is, you just excuse me. You just need to try a little bit harder. Try to be a little more exciting. That way, there's a certain thing to like the boxer when he's not running all the time. That it's a good style to watch. But if you totally like become so like back foot and negative in your attacks, it takes away from what you want to watch and a boxer do or what a boxer does, right? Because we can appreciate good boxers, but when you become back foot and all that, it just pretty much shows that you're scared, and you don't trust your ability.
Yep.
The problem is that it's all right them existing. It's when they head the A side, when they're the A side, and especially if they're from America, where they got all the push.
You are now in the host room, and
they own boxing. America owns boxing, so if you're a back foot bitch in America, you guaranteed you'll be a champion, all right. Any back foot bitch in America can be a champion with a promotion, with Tom Brand diet, etc. So it's the easiest way to the top. You actually can get to the top without getting in a fight, if you get what I mean.
Except
literally
in Saudi Arabia.
So exactly, your sections. So that's the thing, you see. But how is he going? He has to implement something to weed out.
A deterrence.
Because otherwise, Yeah, because you can't say,
Isn't he not trying to do it now?
Because there's dudes next in line. Unless you buy boxing, somehow he buys
But isn't
boxing
he?
and
Isn't he trying to
restructures
do it
the
right
whole
now?
divisions, restructures the
That's what.
divisions and whatever you. You'd have to change it completely, boxing, because you can't just not give the guys next in line a fight because it won't happen. It can't.
Yeah, but the thing
But
is,
yeah,
the thing about
think
it,
this
it's
comment,
like,
dude. I think this comment's been more of just of like a warning, deterrent sort of thing. It's sort of like he's putting it
I mean,
out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's basically put it out there saying, look, lads, it's been a shit show lately. Awful. Ryan dropped the bag. Haney ran for his life in New York, etc., etc. So it's been a shit show. I've lost money. That's another thing. He lost money there for sure, because he is losing some money.
no, but that's the whole point, man. Like, you can't
it's a
just
deal.
like be throwing money at these guys, you know, and they don't perform the way they're supposed to. Like,
You gotta say something.
And the Instagram models, aren't they? They're not fighters.
Guys, the phone lines
no,
are
exactly.
open.
Like,
Sorry, just quickly. You can. Phone lines are open. Call in. The phone number is on your screen. Call in. Call in. Go ahead, Severino.
no, yeah, exactly. That's like one of the points that the thing. I mean, I just want to kind of point your point. Like, you know, who cares? Like, who's next in line? You know, I get it. They deserve it or whatever. But if you're one of the guys who's next in line and don't necessarily like entertain the crowd, bring money, or, you know, at least make something, you know, like, you don't really deserve nothing in reality. You know, this is the entertainment business at the end of the day. If you don't entertain, don't bring money, man, why do we why do we even have you here? So I think that particular point is like, I think it's more of like, you know, I don't want to write your cocktails. If you one of these runners, you know, I guess I can put you in the prelims. Is, you know, I cannot put you in a fucking main event. That's fucking disgusting, because people are only gonna remember like the last thing that they saw, and it will be the main event. Like Shakur and all those guys. I won't mind seeing these guys boxing, but no in a fucking main event. I think I'll make this point before. I won't mind seeing him like at the first or second fight of the event, but not like the main of the co-main or the co-main.
What's the style matchup?
What happened?
What's the style matchup?
I mean, man, I don't try to make like these this being like, oh, like scientific, being like, you know, like style of matchups or whatever, you know, because there could be like guys that can be quote unquote pure boxers and they can be excited as well. You know, they can throw punches, be defensively responsible at the same time, throw punches. Like, that's not an excuse. So these guys that you exaggerate when it comes to that, you know, excessively running, clinching a lot. You know, I don't even mind that you don't have power, because I like Tevin Farmer's fights. You know, the dude throw punches, they're very fucking lazy, and, you know, he stays in the pocket and he avoids a lot of punches. To me, in my opinion, bro, if it wasn't because he has a lot of like physical deficiencies against a lot of the fighters that he fights, he would have started like earlier in boxing, because he's a late bloomer. I think he would be like a, you know, like one of the best fighters of this generation, because he's a late starter, and he has a whole bunch of issues like in his life. Like, he got shot a couple of times in his hands.
Yeah,
I don't know how, but
yeah, I get. But you still, even though he's more of a back foot fighter, I mean, he changed his style.
He's a back foot fighter, but he engages. You know.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
He's a back, but he's a kicker. He also stays in the pocket. He also stays in the pocket.
Yeah, like him versus Cepeda kind of forced him to stay in the pocket as well. That's what I'm talking about. When now Shakur's fighting Cepeda, even though he's a back foot fighter, he's going to be forced to fight. So I still think there's a place for like runners and stuff or main events.
No, but Tevin Farmer is a way more intense fighter than Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson. Even if you go back to his old fights, you never see him like running the way these motherfuckers runs, man. Like, he actually fights, man. He just pillow fisted, but he goes to fight, man.
I definitely agree with that. He does try and engage, and, you know, he mixes it up a bit, and he is good on the back foot. He is.
And here's the thing: he's like one of those things. He's the guy who Shakur Stevenson and Devin Haney. Everybody gives him credit for. He's that guy he.
But the problem is the problem with him.
The problem is he's not a weight bully like these guys. That's the main problem.
He took, but it's the route he took in his career. He went with DAZN and Eddie Hearn, didn't he? Remember
if he would decide to be a weight bully, if he would have decided to be a weight bully at like 122.
Yeah, like I said, he went with DAZN, Eddie Hearn. He got $1 million contract. I think something like $6 million. He got loads of money to sign with DAZN. Did his thing then. He sort of like dwindled.
No, I mean, listen. Not all careers just
in America, top rank. He wasn't getting the real American shine like Haney and.
No, I mean, listen. I don't really think all boxers are supposed to be like superstars and all that. Like, I think he is what he's supposed to be, which is a serviceable fighter. A guy who can give you a couple of good fights. A good challenge for your upcoming fighter. He's exactly what he is. Because he's a late starter. Like, you can change that, but I think he's just like way more exciting. He's way more of a fighter than them two. I think he's the real representation of like a pure boxer, more or less. Is that because he's pillow fisted, but at the same time he has a little bit of pop. Shows in the most of his fight he has like at least snap somebody's like heads back a little bit.
All right,
who would you put in the Hall of Fame?
I need to remind people to.
What happened?
Well, hold on. I need to remind people to hit the like button, hit the like. The phone lines are open. If nobody calls, I'm going to fucking shut them off. All right, so call in.
Well, Lucho.
Yeah.
Lucho.
Yeah.
I would have put neither in the Hall of Fame.
I want to read a super chat.
You want to what?
I want to read a super chat.
What super chat? Okay, go ahead.
I know. When the next one comes in, I'll read it.
Oh, okay. I don't know. You guys can barely hear me because I switched to another fucking shit because we have the phone lines open, but nobody's calling in. So, guys, if nobody calls in 5 minutes, I'm shutting them off. All right. Let's hear somebody. Who else is in here, man? Nobody. We only have two people talking here. Old stock.
Yeah, it's been like literally 3 people here.
Yeah, old stock.
Yeah, come on, guys. Don't be shy.
Show up. All right, this guy's not saying shit.
No, I just saw you guys had a VC. I don't even know what you're talking about.
We're talking about Turkey. I don't know if you heard what he said. He said he's tired of back foot bitches, and he said, that's what he said. And all of a sudden, we got certain people complaining, saying that no, you can't say that. You're not allowed to say that. What are you doing? It's a style.
Oh, I get it. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I was at the fights in Times Square. And I think people were receptive. If there was a good fight, they were gonna like chill, have fun. But Devin Haney fought, and that killed the energy. So again, that simple thing, like nobody wants to see that. Nobody spends time and money to see that shit. Good on Turkey for saying that. Maybe he can push. Maybe that will motivate Shakur to like fight like a man. Who knows, right?
You think Shakur's gonna fight like a man?
It's not his style. It's not him.
He's gonna get knocked out.
Shakur can't do a man.
Oh, you know what? I hope he does because
no, he won't.
The Peta is like he's all offense, so he's gonna put himself out there, right? He's gonna put himself out there to get touched.
I guarantee.
And I'll say this: I don't think he's a big puncher.
Holy shit!
Because if you're a big puncher, you don't throw that many punches and knock the guy out. So I think it's a good opportunity for Shakur to like highlight himself, right? Like get good counter shots, like sit down on his punches. If he's smart, he'll make a good highlight reel out of this.
Hey, Allstock, I understand what you're saying. It makes sense, but guess what? Every fight could have been a good fight for him to do that. He'd never done it. Are you
talking? I can't hear you.
Oh shit!
Hey Butcho, I'll only consider Turkey as having done a great job when he manages to put Tank, Shakur, and Haney, that trio fighting each other either. So Haney, Tank, Shakur, Haney, those 3 fighting each other. If he made a tournament between them, even better. Otherwise, he hasn't accomplished. Yeah, them guys need to fight each other. Them.
All right. What were you saying, Furioso?
Yeah, I'm saying that them guys should be fighting each other. Turkey needs to get that Turkey. If he's such a good, the world's best promoter now, he's going to save boxing. Well, he needs to make Haney, Shakur, and Tang fight each other. Either of them.
Yeah,
either combination. You got those three guys with the American Dream. Yeah, the American Dream team. They Michael Jordan. They, Marvin Hagler. They're the Dream, aren't they? You don't see them fighting each other, do you? No chance. You know what I'm saying? They're picking around. They pick around the periphery. That's what they do. So Turkey needs to stop that organization, that monopoly. That's why I said he's not accomplished nothing yet, Turkey, yet in boxing, that Hearn and Frank Warren wouldn't have done. All he's done is splash money around. Hearn and Frank Warren would have got those jobs done, those fights done anyway. I want to see Turkey get that monopoly, those three American coons fighting each other. That's what I want to see. Then I'll say, well done, my friend.
Yeah,
but he ain't.
Yeah, well,
okay. Remember that, my friends. They need to fight each other, otherwise, job not accomplished.
That's not Turkey's job.
Guys,
Turkey's job is to bring back
we have a phone call. We have a phone call. So 203 on the air. 203.
Ucho, what's going on, brother? What's going on, BDA family?
Yo, what's up? What's
Revolution.
up? Revolution. You sound a little bit low, man. Can you just boost your volume a little bit?
Let me try. Or I could talk louder if that works too.
Can you guys hear him? Can you guys hear him?
It sounds faded. He sounds like he's away from the phone.
Yeah, you're away from I don't know what you're doing, man, but it sounds like shit.
Okay, how about now?
It's the same. It's pretty low.
All right, hold up. Let me see. I'm on my AirPod. Hold on, let me take that shit out.
That's part
Hold
of it.
on. Let me go to the speaker phone. Hello.
That's better.
Yeah, it's better.
That's
Go ahead,
better.
Revolution, what's up?
Now we talking. Chilling, man. Hey, Bucho, your new nickname is Swish, baby, because that's all I hear every time you're running the show. It's a big swish once in a while from the bottle when you're throwing one back.
That's okay, man. Sure, man. So what else, man? What's up, man? What do you think about Turkey and his statement?
Good. I like it. Fucking hold their fucking feet to the fire, man. Let's make these guys actually fight. Let's have somebody stand up and hey, I gotta give you guys a lot of credit because every time I tune in, we're talking about the same thing, and that's not a bad thing. We're talking about this boxing, clinching, holding, excessive, all that shit, man. Let's start a fucking movement. Let's keep it going. I like what you got going.
Let's start La Revolución.
Yeah, let's start La Revolución. Yeah, so hopefully we can influence, the floor of boxing.
Let's make boxing as exciting as hockey.
Yeah, hockey's more. Those hockey fights are more exciting than boxing right now. But anything
absolutely.
else? Anything else, Revolución?
Yeah. So it's kind of interesting to me, right? It's kind of interesting because me being a professional wrestler, I'm coming from that background.
Mm-hmm.
There is definitely a crossover here with boxing, with the knowledge, with the logic here, right? You want to have fights, you want to make money, and you don't want to get hurt. And that just manifests itself differently in the two sports. So in pro wrestling, it's scripted. The guys are cooperating. There's a whole plan. It's not a competition. That's how they kind of they take the edge off it. It's not a real competition. Nobody's supposed to get hurt. We can work more fucking matches and make more money. That's the whole concept. You see that in boxing now. It's like these guys want to fight and protect the O and not take any risks and stay safe. And it's the same thought process, I want to stay healthy. I don't want to take damage. I want to have fights and make money. But the problem is, with wrestling, man, you could make the matches entertaining. That's the point. It's sports fucking entertainment. You do whatever you want. The way it manifests in boxing, it's fucking boring.
The thing about boxing now is, boxing like in soccer that I also follow is the fighters and the players, they're not coming from the streets. they manufacture in these like fancy gyms. Mummy and daddy takes them, and they pay expensive membership fees every month. They're a different breed of people, yeah. They're not like Maradona from the streets anymore and stuff like that, or they're not even
They're not a
Marvin
fucking little
Hagler.
Duran, bro.
They're not tough guys, or Duran. They're not tough from the ghetto, from the streets, and they barefooted kids. These kids have got Air Maxes straight away when they're born. These kids go to the gym in Land Rovers with mummy and daddy, then they go to McDonald's after. Duran and Maradona weren't that type of nigger. Pardon my expression, yeah.
No, you keep going.
And that's the way and that's just the way it is. It's a different
the hunger,
breed. They
the hunger
like that, and then it's like these kids now, they get their eyebrows done, everything before fights, everything. They're worried about their looks, a lot more, everything. Duran wasn't bothered about getting punched. These guys are bothered about that.
Well,
it's Instagram, isn't it? Because the picture, everything. It's more. Yeah, it's Insta. They're Insta boxers. Insta world.
Revolucion, what do you think about that?
Instant. You guys want it instant, or the world is being served instant, immediate. So therefore, it's going to be cheap, isn't it? It's not going to be as carved and as nurtured like the OGs. It's just simple mathematics.
Go ahead.
I agree with what you're saying. But like in boxing, I wouldn't say it's like so much from like these cookie cutter gyms and the guys aren't coming from the streets. I think you're still getting street dudes in boxing, especially like American boxing, but the mindset is different, where there's this like entitlement more now. In the 70s you had street dudes, but they're fucking thugging it out and fighting. Tyson, he was a street dude, and he was mugging old ladies and crying in alleyways and shit. He was an emotional wreck. He was knocking guys out, but now everybody... And another thing we harp on, man, fucking Floyd set the standard. Everybody wants to be that, the A side, everything in my fucking favor. Don't want to get hit. I want everybody to love me.
It's CCTV everywhere. You know what I mean? We're not living in Harlem, Brooklyn, 1980s, 70s, 60s, are we? It's like the old thing, the gentrified. Everything's been, tower blocked. It's flat pack everywhere. It's all try to be made nice, and that's so the fighters are a product of the environment.
So the fighters are pussies. So we agree the fighters are pussies. I want to hear Revolucion. So let's say you're Turkey. What would you do differently?
You just gotta. It's you know what it is. If you're not entertaining, you don't draw money. You're unbooked. That's it.
Yeah.
Yep. You're not put on. I think he's doing the exact right thing.
What if Shakur Stevenson holds all the belts, or whoever's
That's a good point.
Some guy there, Tyrone has all the.
All
belts.
right. Well, let's see. So if I'm Turkey, I could be completely wrong with this shit too. If I'm Turkey, then I'm trying to get somebody in my stable who I could work up to a mandatory position, and try to force the fucking
and then get robbed when he fights the. Yeah, but then he's fighting. No, I guess that's the only thing he could do in that situation.
I don't know, and we'll see how deep the fucking Sheik's pockets are, man.
That's a good
Money
point.
makes a lot of shit happen.
How far is he willing to go? Yeah.
Yo, how old is the Turk?
Hammer them on the scorecards. That's the way to weed them out. I was asking how to do it.
How old is he?
30? He looks like he's in his 30s. Hammer him on the scorecards. Haney, if he fights like that next time, don't give him the win. You didn't deserve it. You weren't searching. You were hiding. Simple as that.
Yeah. Makes sense.
What do you guys think about? I heard you guys talking about ring size a few weeks ago, man. I wanted to call in. I was busy though, but maybe smaller ring, 16-foot fucking ring.
What do you guys think? The smaller ring.
They'll start saying health and safety. That's the problem.
What?
No, the small ring is good.
Don't forget they went from 15 rounds. They went from 15 rounds to 12.
Okay, I know what you mean now.
Well then,
But
then just have them box in a fucking football field. Then if they want that shit, health and safety. We're boxers, bro.
Wait,
like, we're here to fucking fight, scrap it out.
Make the ring smaller, make the guys fucking have to come together more often. I don't see how that's a fighter safety issue. It just forces the fight more. It's not making it longer and harder.
Dude, I think they should alarm the ropes. So, for instance, the fighter's only allowed to touch the ropes so many times in the fight, and every time they touch the ropes, obviously it's centered, the ropes light up, and it's easy to mark, bang, 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 and five touches you out, or you get points taken, or something like that, and it keeps them in the ring.
But then you get into the levels of I like the idea. It's something outside the box, but then you're going to get guys pushing into the ropes.
Yeah, you're right. I was thinking
you're gonna have technicalities like, did he touch or did he not? You know what I mean? Like a fight is gonna come down to a fucking elbow brushing on the rope. I say barbed wire rope if we're going that route.
Yeah, no, it's gonna. Yeah,
no, that's a good one actually. That's a good one.
You don't have to reinvent the wheel, right?
Yeah.
Like, look, if there's a close fight, you don't have to make it more complicated. If there's a close fight. Like, there's a round that's close. I'm awarding the round to the guy that was the aggressor. That's it. Like, if you keep that policy, being like in the fights, people like Shakur and Haney, like they're gonna lose. If you just keep that in mind,
you'll have to search it.
If there's a close fight, there's one guy initiating and there's one guy backing up. Like, again, it's a close round. I'm giving it to the guy that's initiating. Because if it's not for him, bro, like we're just staring at it. We're just staring at each other. Like that's all that's happening.
Ramirez was making Haney run and rotate.
Like we're staring and we're fainting. So like, what kind of event is this?
Yeah, it's like fencing. I'm the person who gets if both people touch at the same time in fencing, the person who's aggressing gets a point.
Yellow card. They should have yellow cards.
Yeah.
And then
the guy, I think the caller said he came from like a pro wrestling background, right?
Yeah.
I just had a question for him because I know I think TKO is the parent company of WWE, and they're cutting costs. And I know that Turkey, I think he does business with TKO. So I wonder if like down the line he's going to be cutting costs in boxing too.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the whole business.
Have you heard anything about that?
I know WWE's always making cuts, like sending guys off and shit. But really, I don't know the business up on that high a level. I have no clue what's going on, to be honest.
All right.
Yeah, just asking.
Yeah.
All good, man. All good.
By the way, I have a super chat here from Hyperspace. Thank you for your super chat. He says, Dimitri Bivol, great boxer who fights. He does fight. He's a boxer, but he fights.
Yeah.
See, let's not go crazy here. These people from the LDBC, they're criticizing Turkey, saying, "Oh, what do you want to see? You want to see Mickey Ward against Irish Mickey Ward?"
Gotti.
All the time. So what did I say? Gotti against Ward? Is that what you want to see? No, you can have guys like Bivol who can box, but they're not running away.
Yep.
See, these people live on the extreme. Yeah.
Even Bivol is a little, I don't want to say boring, but like you got to be a hardcore to follow his fights. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not going to see fucking a big group of fucking bros and Bivol, cheering him on and shit.
But
like,
he's not running. But I think the point is he's not running away. He's not. See, you cannot compare this guy to Shakur Stevenson. Just go watch the Los Santos fight. It's ridiculous. That was ridiculous.
Bivol is literally a practitioner of the sweet science. I don't know why they don't like this guy. The LTBC should love him.
Yeah.
He gets out of range effectively, in range. He's offensive and defensive at the same time.
Beautiful boxing. Beautiful boxing. They don't like
without clinching.
Why would that be?
Without
I don't
clinching,
know.
Bucho.
No clinching.
They run because they've been taken.
He's a little boring though, but he does fight.
Yeah, he's not. I won't say that exciting as hell.
He stays there to fight, bro.
Yeah.
But he's not running. He's not running.
He's not running.
No. All right. Let's see. Anything?
Hey, Bucho, I'm about to hop off, man. I just got out of work, tired as fuck. Good to talk to y'all, and hopefully I'll be jumping on a panel or something soon to bullshit about boxing?
Yeah, let us know, man, and I'll let you in on the panel. All right?
Hell yeah, bro. Have a good rest of your night. I'll be listening.
All right, take care. All right, that was Pro Wrestler Revolucion. But yeah, guys, hit the like button. If you're enjoying the show, hit the like, and call in. The number's on your screen. Especially if you disagree, please call in. Let's have a civilized debate. I want to hear from people who disagree with Turkey. Please call in.
Just have an argument. As long as you have a genuine argument, call in, bro.
Yeah. Any argument, just fucking call in and let's debate.
Just call in.
Just call in. Don't be afraid. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Yeah, so I mean, what Turkey just said sounds revolutionary, but it's really not. I mean, it's just common sense. That's what's funny,
It's
right?
like
That's what we talked about earlier. It's just
like what I said.
common.
It's like he wants the boxers to box. That's crazy. It sounds crazy, but that's what he wants.
How dare he? It's like fucking Copernicus.
How dare he?
You know, he's Copernicus.
Isn't it crazy that, you know, somebody for the, you know, from a whole nother continent has to like come here and fix everything?
It's that bad, Severino. It's that bad.
It's true.
It's really that bad because, man, like any other like boxing scene is exciting, you know, even though they don't have like the crazy stars or whatever, you know, but it's something going on, you know. Look at the Huni and this guy's fight. What was his name? Worley. That was a great fight, man. Yeah, that was a great fight, man. That was a really, really good shot of a heavyweight fight, man. The dude was winning, sweeping all the rounds, and a crazy right hand just landed right in the jaw, and that was all she wrote.
That was rocky.
Man,
that
like,
was a rocky night. That was
a rocky moment.
People will say it was an early stoppage, but man, I remember putting like the sound just around there because I was just curious, like to see like what the commentators were saying, because he looked like really deflated. What I'm talking about, he looked he was about to get stopped, and the thing is when that right hand landed, Huni just landed on the ground like right on his back, man, and it sounded like a sack of potatoes, man. Like he like hot as fuck. Like I wouldn't blame like the.
Yeah, go ahead.
Huh?
No, go ahead. Finish your point.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like he landed hard as fuck. Like when you see somebody like land like straight on their backs, man, you know, like borderline, you know, snapping not snapping, but like hitting the back of their heads to the ground, picking themselves off, like, you know, like, oh, where am I? Like, you know that person doesn't have a lot left, you know.
It's interesting. We're talking about a heavyweight fight where not much was at stake, right? I think. I mean,
there was nothing at stake.
No, right. There was nothing, I guess. Okay. But we're not talking about
you don't have to put belts at stake, man.
Fights. We're not talking about the fights that happened in New York, you know, in Times Square. All three fights were boring as hell. This is why.
Man.
Yeah, exactly. But just notice we're talking about Wardley knocking out Huni, because even though it wasn't even a championship fight, these guys are not at the very top of the division. But still, it was an exciting fight, and we still remember what happened. When it comes to Shakur Stevenson and all these other guys who are supposed to be at the very top of the sport, we don't even talk about the day after. We don't even want to talk about their fights. This is what Turkey's pointing out.
Nah, we just
yeah.
No, I think that's exactly what he's pointing out. You know, and like the thing that I was referencing to, like the other gentleman, is like, who cares who's who's next in line? Like if you're not entertaining, you know, if you're not bringing money, like what the fuck will have you around? You know what I mean? Like just go and get like a real estate license and do something else, dog. Like I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Guys, it doesn't even make sense that. Sorry, go on.
We have a phone call. Let's take a phone call. Let's not keep him waiting. 680. You're on the air. 680.
Oh shit! What's going on, Bucho? It's great to be on the show.
Hey man, who's this?
My name's Garrett. I'm from upstate New York.
Okay.
Not too far from the International Boxing Hall of Fame there. So, anywho, not to totally change subject on everybody, but what's people's opinions about the Jake Paul Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. fight? Because I don't know, I'm getting so fucking sick of seeing this guy, especially seeing him in these lopsided, damn near fixed fights. Like, but at the same time, the fuck is wrong with Chavez Jr. too, right? Like, I don't know, man. I'm getting sick of seeing this shit, and I just want to see somebody put Jake Paul into a fucking coma. Like, I don't know. Is it just me? Am I being a hater? I don't fucking know.
Good question. Good question.
Yes, you're being a hater.
Who wants to answer?
No, you're not being a hater. Serena, you're just talking shit.
I see. I'll speak for myself. I see him as a spectacle, right? Like the only fight that I enjoyed of his was the when he faced the basketball player Nate Robinson, when he knocked him out, because it was a novelty, right? So it was funny. It was funny as shit the way Snoop Dogg was commentating the knockdown, like the knockout. That was some funny shit. It was a circus show. Yeah, it was a circus show. But then like the novelty wears off, and again, like I'm not interested in this.
Right.
I'm thinking, right? He's gonna make money off Chavez's son's last name. I mean, Chavez Jr. And I don't know if people will bite. I'm not biting, but I'm not the general public, right? So we'll see.
It would be crazy if Chavez would redeem himself for once.
Caller, do you think
I almost feel like it's a bad move on Chavez Jr.'s part too. Like, why is he agreeing to this? Isn't he just going to embarrass himself again? Like, I don't know. It just seems like such a shit show. It's hard to even care.
It's about the money. Obviously.
I guess. That's the only logical reason.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, boys, I appreciate y'all. I appreciate the show. I'll let someone else get a call in, but you guys are awesome, and I love being a part of this community.
All right,
guys.
Man.
Peace.
Thank you for calling. Call back again. All right. Take care. All right. Yeah, it's true. I forgot about that fight, about the Chavez Jr. fight. I mean, I saw a video of him hitting the mitts, the pads. He looked slow. I think he kind of looked fat a bit. I don't expect him to win. I think the fight's going to be extremely boring. I don't think anything's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Terrible.
Because he lost to Anderson Silva, right? He lost like maybe a year or two ago to Anderson Silva, I think.
Yeah. No, that guy's washed. I mean, beyond washed.
Yeah. He was never good. The only reason he ever got a belt was because when he was in his early 20s, he was killing himself to make 160. So at 160, he would rehydrate back to like 180, and he was able to like eat shots and land his own shots, and he would wear people out.
Yeah,
that was the only reason he got a belt.
He was very big. I remember that Andy Lee fight. He just fucked him up, but he just looked much bigger than Andy Lee. Against Sergio Martinez, he was losing. He lost every round basically, except the last round where he caught him. He caught Sergio. Sergio was tired, I guess. That's pretty much it, man. The best thing about his career was that 12th round against Martinez. I don't think Jake Paul's going to stop. By the way, just my prediction. I don't think he's going to stop Chavez. I think it's going to be a boring fight. 12, whatever round decision it is.
Funny enough, I think Chavez's best fight was his fight against Daniel Jacobs, because he was getting outboxed a little bit, but then he's just landing a jab, and you see it's hurting Jacobs. Like he's landing the jab like little by little, and it's putting Jacobs on his back foot, and then Chavez, he just quits.
Yeah,
he's hurting the guy, and he quits.
Chavez, you remember? That's true. He was kind of competitive. I don't think he was winning,
and he was hurting him. That's the frustrating thing, that he was like, bro, like you're hurting the guy, you asshole, you're hurting him, like you're a dickhead. Yo, bro, if I was his father, I would have smacked
mentally.
The shit out of him.
I think he had potential though. Because I don't think
so.
I think he had potential. I mean, but that's very subjective. I mean, who the fuck knows? We'll never know. But there was a little something there. Just something. But who knows? Who cares? To be honest, who cares? We have Recognize in here as well. We have Nicholas. Guys, you want to jump in? I don't know if you heard about what Turkey said.
About no more Tom and Jerry fights?
No more Tom and Jerry fights. Well, your thoughts on that?
I love it. So if you got the biggest fight that they could make, which is Canelo and Crawford, so they should be standing it. They should be banging it out. I like that. If they come to fight like the way Turkey wants them to fight, Canelo knocks him out in 5 rounds.
Yep.
Oh, so are you saying that statement was made? It was intended to be.
Well, think about it. That's the biggest fight. That's the biggest fight that they can make. ¿Entiendes? So like, that's the biggest fight that he can make. Why would he make that statement?
It's going towards Crawford?
I don't think it's going towards Crawford, but it's like generally speaking.
Okay.
The biggest fight I could make for this year is Canelo and Crawford in terms of like the media attention behind that in the boxing world.
Right.
So, okay, you're gonna be okay if you're Turkey. You're gonna be okay with that with one guy running?
No, it's on Netflix.
Right.
Netflix.
Oh yeah.
Wait, it's gonna be on Netflix?
Yeah, for free. Well, not for free. I mean, you need a Netflix subscription, but.
Well, there you go.
So he doesn't want to.
Definitely.
This is my fear, that it's a boring fight and it's gonna give another black eye to boxing, just like Pacquiao Mayweather. So maybe
it could be
right.
a boring fight.
Maybe you're right. I never thought about that.
Yeah, but I think it could be a boring fight, right? Crawford could back-foot it. I could see that happening, but it's like Turkey saying, "Look, in the biggest fight that I can make, man, you guys can't make me look bad." So we know that Canelo's not going to back-foot it. Who's Canelo ever back-foot to?
So it's
like a
going
couple
towards
of
Crawford.
The only person he ever back-foot to was 3 to 4 rounds against Triple G in the first fight. That was it. So he can't be talking about Canelo.
Holy shit!
That's what I'm saying.
That's interesting. Or he could be talking about Shakur too. You know, Shakur's a better fight coming up.
Yeah, but I'm saying,
that's true.
Like out of all the cards that he made, you have to assume that the Crawford and Canelo fight is the biggest fight. There's no way he wants to Jerry fight that one.
All right, recognize. What do you think about the backlash? Some people are saying they're telling Turkey you can't tell boxers how to fight. Some are saying it's not their fault. You have to blame the opponents who can't cut off the ring. Stuff like that. What do you think about that?
Well, he's not telling them how to fight. Like you said, he's just telling them not in his cards.
Yeah.
Well, it is true. You cannot tell a fighter how to fight, but I could penalize you.
How?
The judges could not give you the fight. There's other ways to handle that, right? So if somebody starts fighting on the back foot, look like they're just trying to survive, and the guy that they're fighting is trying to make the fight, outside of him getting embarrassed, why wouldn't you give him the fight?
So you think that's starting influencing the judges now?
Right. I mean, if you look at Turkey's history, the majority of the big fights that he was involved with, the guy who was coming forward won the fights. The majority of those fights.
Yeah, the Better Be Bivol first fight is a good example of that.
There you go. Yep.
Yeah,
and I think those fights was. I don't think there was any controversy, in my opinion, in both fights between Beterbiev and the only controversy was that they were both close fights. That's it. But I think the right guys won their respective fight. I thought Beterbiev won the first fight, and then I thought Bivol got his lick back.
Interesting. Other people are saying
his most controversial fight has been the Shiraz fight. That's the only one that I'm like, that's very controversial.
That's right, Vessel. Vessel's right about that. I thought the only fight where there was some BS, Shiraz lost to not only to, in my opinion, a lot of people's opinion, to Adamus.
Yeah, I found it funny how some people are going crazy. Just because, again, Turkey said something that's pretty logical. Nobody wants to see boring fights. guys on the back foot. And, no, you can't say that. You can't tell a boxer what to do. It's not their fault. That's called boxing. Why are they defending this?
Well, because they know if that fight is scored, if the fights are scored the way, what I would say is the way you should score a fight. If the guy's trying to make the fight, bro, and the other guy's backing off, again, outside of the aggressor getting embarrassed, outside of that, if the fight's pretty close and he's the one being aggressive, why wouldn't you give him the fight? I don't understand that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's because it's called hit and not get hit. Okay. No,
that's not true.
That's true.
But we know that statement has been misused, right? It's don't get hit as bad as you're hitting your opponent.
I think judges now, they and even the commentators, some commentators believe that being on the back foot is showing ring generalship, that you're in control. Because
you could be if you're walking in.
Yeah.
Well, you could be on the back foot and be in control.
You gotta pop a jab. You gotta hit
for the cleaner shots. Yeah, I get that part. But if you're not doing anything, and the Shakur and De Los Santos fight, for example, that's one example. Yeah, I don't think Shakur won that fight.
Yeah, you're right. And now we're getting into some. I mean, being on the back foot doesn't mean you're running, but again, you got to do something. Like you just said, recognize. You can't just run away, stay out of range, and then don't throw any punch. Like when you're out of range, you're out of range. Nothing's gonna happen because nobody can reach each other. Both fighters cannot reach each other. So if you're trying to maintain,
when Bivol fought Turbiev, especially in the rematch, right? I thought that if you looked at who was the aggressor throughout the fight, was Beterbiev. But Bivol started walking him into shots and wanted him to fight.
He was setting him into traps a lot, bro.
Right. Okay. So like that's effective. That's effective, like back-footing it a bit, because what you're trying to do is you're setting up your opponent to get caught with shots. You're setting traps up.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be an effective. Back foot. Right. Yeah. You get what I'm saying?
There's some offensive work going on.
Well, and on top of that, he wasn't backfooting the whole time. He was in between backfooting. He would go and disrupt his tempo, Beterbiev's tempo, by starting up a combination at a weird angle or a weird rhythm.
Yes.
That's what he's really good at.
Yeah.
Yeah. When we talk about running, we're talking about, for example, Shakur Stevenson against De Los Santos. That's what we're talking. That's a reference. Go check that fight, guys. This is what we're talking about. This is what we're criticizing.
You could be on the back foot and still fight. Like a good example would be the people listening. Like you could look at Mayweather versus Jesus Chavez, right? Like in a lot of that fight, Jesus Chavez is being aggressive, and Mayweather is just leaning back and rolling. He's rolling. I think Chavez is right and rolling back with an uppercut the whole fight. And like the thing is, he doesn't have to do anything else because Chavez is like just coming forward. So that you're like letting the guy lead, but you're getting your shots off, right? What Shakur does is like he's not letting the guy lead.
He's dictating the fight by doing that.
You know why black fighters can't help do the back foot? Because
hold on. We don't see color here. We don't see color.
It's generational trauma because in the early 20th century, racist white men, whenever a black fighter was fighting a white man, the people in the audience, right underneath the ring, they would hit them in their ankles or try to break their legs.
Oh, are you trying to say that like that's so bullshit? That's not even true.
So wait, go ahead. Let it finish.
Yeah, so it's sort of like a generational trauma. So whenever they're in the ring, they can't help but do the back foot. It's embedded in them.
I think he'll die. I think
genetic memory.
Yeah, exactly. At this point, maybe. Hey, guys, we have a phone call. Let's take a phone call. 213 on the air. 213. Yes, go ahead.
Hello. Yeah, I'm listening to you guys talking. It's boxing is hit and not get hit. That's correct. I absolutely agree. But what guys like Shakira do is not get hit and hit. Now, well, it's a professional boxing match. The scoring criteria is very clear. It's effective aggression. That's the first thing. You got ring generalship. Okay, effective aggression. Who's doing more damage? Who's being more effective? Effective punches do more damage. Ring generalship. Who's controlling the fight? Who's making the fight like what it's doing? Like Shakira, ring generalship. Okay, yes. He's controlling the action. He's making the other guy chase him, and he's hitting him more times. It's effective. Is it entertaining? No. That's not hit and not get hit. What Shakira does is not get hit and hit. That's my thing. It's not complicated. This is professional boxing. This is the way it's always been scored. Now, sometimes judges, they don't score things the way they should get scored. That's where the confusion comes in. We all know that they're gonna favor the favorite. They're gonna whoever the promotion company's behind. That's who the judges are gonna favor. It's no secret. That's where people get confused. But yes, the round goes to the guy who does more damage. Now, if the guys are coming forward, doing more damage, that guy's controlling the action. He's getting the best out of it. That's where people get confused. It's not complicated. It's professional boxing. The guy doing more damage is the guy that gets the round.
Yep, I agree. I agree completely.
Yep.
So if you yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna ask you, if you were Turkey, His Excellency, what would you do differently? Or would you change the rules or try to change something? The judges, the referee, influence the referee?
No. The rules are good. The thing is, these referees don't enforce the rules. Like guys like Andre Ward, he'd hold, he'd hit, he'd do all these dirty tactics. Oh, the press. That's boxing. He's a slick fighter. He's intelligent. Nah. Andre Ward was dirty. For whatever reason, the press in the U.S. called this guy a boxing genius, and the people, they go with it. No. That guy was dirty. That's not boxing. The referee's letting this guy use dirty tactics. So people are thinking, yeah, well, he got the decision. The judges don't enforce, the referees don't enforce the rules, So that's where the confusion comes in. These referees don't enforce the rules, These judges, they're paid off, whatever, they're corrupt, so they don't score them the way they're supposed to. That's where the confusion comes in. The rules are fine, The rules have been the same since the beginning, But the thing is, these referees don't enforce the rules. As far as Turkey saying he wants more action, I'm from Mexico, Like in Mexico, you watch a boxing match, you're in the arena. These guys aren't engaging. What's the crowd going to do? They're going to start booing. They're going to start whistling. They're going to start throwing things. What's the referee going to do? Let's pick it up. So in Mexico, this is no big deal. In Mexico, this is normal. What Turkey's saying, in Mexico, that's not controversial. That's just the way it is. Maybe in the rest of the world, in the USA for sure, oh, that's controversial. But that's because the USA really isn't a big boxing country. Like, these guys think they know a lot. Like I talk to these people on the street. Like, wow, like these guys think they know. They don't know anything in the U.S. These guys may know basketball. They might know American football. They don't know boxing. And that's the problem in the USA. In Mexico, nothing changes. In the USA, I've been here for a long time. I've been here for like a decade. And it seems like every decade, boxing is getting less popular and the fans are getting more ignorant.
Mm-hmm. That's a great point about the crowd, how they influence the fight in a way.
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
For the caller.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you legal?
Oh, come on.
Excuse me?
He's asking if you're legal.
It's very suspicious.
Hey, man, I've been here since the 60s. I've probably been a citizen longer than you've been born. Put it that way. Oh yeah, just so you know, I have dual citizenship, but I travel with my Mexican passport.
Yeah, good idea, man.
That's
Good.
right, brother.
I have both as well, man. I have both as well.
Yo, Hillside, you can tell he's from the West Coast. He ain't like Ostad.
Now he sounds like he's from El Paso, Texas.
Well, I'll say that's
Oh, Ciudad Juárez, Chihuahua, baby. Ciudad Juárez, Chihuahua.
Juárez.
Yo, how is it? How is it in occupied Mexico? Y'all still rioting in occupied Mexico?
Occupied.
Yeah, we taking over, bro.
Yo, brother, you know that was promised to us 3,000 years ago, right?
Who promised it? Jesus, the Mexican janitor.
Why are you laughing at me? This is serious.
Yeah, of course, bro.
Whatever. I try to put you on game, but you always want to joke. Whatever.
All right. Anyways, hey, caller, man. Great call. Great call. Call back again next time, all right?
All right, thanks.
Take care.
Have a great day, guys.
See ya.
Thank you. Good call.
I call him.
I don't know, man.
Yo, yeah,
But Hillside had to press him on some West Coast politics, bro. I like that.
Yeah, I just gotta make sure, you know.
him.
Just gotta make sure, dog.
I feel like once he came to BDA, the shit's gonna get raided.
Yeah, I know. Hey guys, we got another phone call. Let's take it. 919. You're on the air. 919.
Yo, it's 150 Dream Team.
Hey, what's up,
Salute.
man? Yo, what's on your mind? Tell us your thoughts on Turkey.
You said what now? Say it again.
Your thoughts on Turkey Al Sheik's comments.
Oh yeah, see, I was talking about the title, man. What Turkey what Turkey's talking about with these runners and boxing and shit.
Yep.
So nah, man. I was basically trying to like put my input on it. Like, I don't want to say Turkey is wrong. You know what I'm saying, for what he said, because I mean, look, bro. As a boxing fan, bro, I've been watching boxing for a while. So as a boxing fan, I don't want to see that. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to see guys just run around the ring. You know what I'm saying? Like what Devin Haney did. What was that, last month? I think it was last month. What Devin Haney did, that's like disgraceful, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not real boxing. Like, if anyone says that's sweet science, that's not sweet science, man. Straight up. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that's the thing, bro. It's not even just him. There's other fighters like that, too. Like, you know what I'm saying? Shakur Stevenson's pretty boring. Richardson Hitchens, Sando Martin. There's other fighters that fight that way, bro. They just spoil fights. But at the same time, I feel like Turkey, too, he can't tell people how to fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, he can't make these dudes fight certain ways, you know, because that's all they know. That's their style, you know what I'm saying? Styles will make fights. You know what I'm saying? I understand what he's trying to say, but at the same time, it's like you can't really tell these dudes how to fight because no matter what, they're going to fight that way. Devin Haney's not changing his style. Shakur ain't changing his style. These other fucking so-called pure boxers, they're not going to change their style for nobody. They don't even care about the fans. They care about themselves. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but can Turkey...
If you guys get what I'm trying to say.
But can Turkey pressure these guys to maybe be a little bit more offensive? Because maybe, you know, like Shakur Stevenson is going to fight in the undercard of the Berlanga fight. So isn't that isn't he putting a little bit of pressure on Shakur, do you think?
Yeah, he's putting pressure on him. But I know Shakur Stevenson, I know he's not going to change his style for nobody. You know what I'm saying? Like, even in his hometown, he's making fans leave. You know what I'm saying? Because he's choosing to fight a certain way. Because he's not trying to please the fans, man. That's what I'm saying. He don't care about no fucking fans, man. That dude's just trying to get the win. So he's going to win by any means fighting that atrocious style.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's boring, but it's effective too. You know what I'm saying? So... yeah, I don't know, man. I don't think he's gonna change his style, man. He might open up a little bit more, but
like Haney, Shakur, they need to get deported, dog, out of boxing. We don't want them, bro.
Out of boxing. What the fuck does that mean? Kicked out of boxing. Yeah. No, but 50. You have a point here. I mean, there's only so much that Turkey can do, right? Right now, he's just made a statement, but maybe that's as far as it goes, right?
Yeah, man. And it's like too, you know, even though they fight boring, I still want to see certain guys fight them. You know what I'm saying? Because here's the thing, bro. A guy like Devin Haney, right? Shakur Stevenson, right? Their style, you got to put him against a dude that can cut the ring. You got to put him against a guy that knows how to feint. You know what I'm saying? For example, like look what Devin Haney fought Lomachenko. Lomachenko knows how to cut the ring. He knows how to fight inside. He knows how to feint. He made Haney fight. Haney couldn't run against Loma. He can't do that against a guy like him. But a guy like Jose Ramirez, he's on the end of his career, gun shy. He can't cut the ring like that. The fight's going to look bad, bro. You know what I'm saying? You got to have someone that knows how to stop a guy from running, knows how to keep him in one spot and land effective shots, you know what I'm saying, and win the fight on top of that. I know Loma didn't get the win, but I thought he won anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to put him against guys like that. You cannot beat a type of style like Shakur Haney and don't feint.
But when you say that, some people are going to think that what you're defending these boxers are like Shakur who are on the back foot.
No. I'm not defending them. That's what some people might think that.
Yeah, you are, bro.
That's
Why should other boxers walk on eggshells just to cater to another style? Fuck that, bro. That's not boxing.
What you mean? What you mean I have to walk on? So you telling me Jose Ramirez walked on eggshells? That's what you're telling me?
No, because you're saying, oh, if Haney and Shakur are runners, put them with somebody that could cut off the ring. No, dude, they need a fucking fight. That's what boxing is. Boxing is not a marathon. Period.
That's what I'm saying. If they're gonna fight that way, you gotta make them fight. You can't just look, bro. You can't just let them fight that way.
It's not making them, bro. What they need to do, they need to start taking points away. Period.
That's why I brought Lomachenko, because he's a great example of that. He can make anyone fight. He can make anybody fight with his skill set. But when you put him in there with some dude that doesn't have those abilities, the fight will look terrible. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
The difference.
Yeah.
No, but the difference between like those two things is that guys like Devin Haney and Shakur, they're not afraid to engage when they know they have multiple advantages against their opponent. They're bigger than him, faster, stronger, right?
Yep.
Devin Haney didn't have
100% agree with that.
But Devin Haney didn't have much of an advantage over Jose Ramirez, other than he was faster and younger. Over Loma, he had a whole bunch of advantages, and he still was losing in the exchanges. So he is not as good as his advertised, or his dad want to advertise to be. So the only thing is, with this particular statement, that's when you want to know who's the real boxer and who's not. Doesn't have to be sucking robots. You can be a pure boxer. You can be a pure boxer and also be in the pocket and evading punches. Because, like, for example, like guys that don't really know for like their defense, like for example, Manny Pacquiao. You don't remember a lot of his fights, like with a whole bunch of bruises and like purple eyes and shit. And he wasn't known by his defense, and he was still like an exciting fighter. So like fuck all that, like being a mainly defensive fighter and all that. Learn how to fucking fight.
Mm-hmm. But that's the thing. Manny Pacquiao is another example of that. He's a fighter, dude. If you put Manny Pacquiao versus Devin Haney, that's not gonna happen. That fucking running, that's not gonna happen. That's not going to happen because Pacquiao knows how to cut the ring.
Yeah,
he knows how to feint.
You still have guys that run against Manny Pacquiao.
Bro, Pacquiao's skill set is underrated. His skill set is underrated, first off, bro.
I will say,
I'm telling you, bro, guys like Pacquiao, guys like Chavez, dudes that can really cut the ring. Jose Ramirez cannot cut the ring. Canelo cannot cut the ring. Guys like Inoue can cut the ring. Bam Rodriguez can cut the ring. Beterbiev can cut the ring. I can name a bunch of fighters that can cut the ring that I've seen for years. And I'm telling you, if they fought a runner or a so-called spoiler, that fight's not going that way because they know how to beat that style. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I understand y'all saying, I'm not defending the boxer.
Here's
the
a kicker, dog.
Fight that way. What can I do about
here's a
that?
kicker, dog. Yeah, but the thing is, even when you cut off the ring, when I get to you, you're gonna clinch me. So like,
some fighters know how to get out the clinch.
If you do,
Lomachenko knows how to get out the clinch. You can't hold Lomachenko. You can't hold better beef.
Clinching is illegal, bro. Clinching is illegal.
Yeah, that's very true. But you see fighters do it all the time. You see Haney fucking held Cambodia like 40 times in that fight.
Bro, we don't want to see that.
It's only select few, man. It's only select few, man.
Okay, I understand what y'all saying.
Okay,
y'all saying y'all don't want to see it. I don't want to see it either. But we are fans. We can't do nothing about it. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all.
Go ahead.
Am I right or wrong? That's all I'm saying. Am I right or wrong?
Okay, so there's nothing we can do about it. What do you think? Who wants to say something here? Severino, I think, or
I'll say something real quick. Real quick. He said like you can't. Turkey can't change the way they fight, right? I agree. Like the thing is, I'm not gonna change the way you do your job, but I don't wanna like you're not gonna be my events. Like go get money with Aram, go get money with Oscar, but I don't want to promote you. Period. That's it.
Exactly.
Yeah, and here's the thing that, like,
I definitely agree with
I don't mind.
That's one thing Turkey can do. He can get them the fuck
listen,
out
man.
of
Like,
he can do that.
It's not of a fact. It's not of a fact that forcing anybody fighting the way they fight. It's none of that. It's like you can force anybody watch you. Making that ugly style of fighting. Because the thing is, I don't mind watching those guys fighting. I really don't. But I don't want to see them like as the main event, man. I don't want to be winning like the whole night just to see these two bitches fighting, man. Hell no. Like they should be in the prelims.
No,
to be
I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that. They shouldn't be the main event because they're gonna put you to sleep and you're gonna miss the fight and you wasted your time. So I agree with y'all, bro. I'm not defending nobody here. I'm just trying to tell y'all, bro. Styles make fights. Some fighters can't do what other fighters can. That's what I'm telling you. That's why these fights go this way.
No, yeah, it's obvious, man. But we seen, but here's the thing, though. Like I can tell, like you haven't watched boxing for a long time, because
why do you say that?
Huh?
Why is that
all these types of fights? Hold on, because all these types of fights we've seen them before and better than this. And all these guys, they're trying to mold people from the past, and they're not doing it quite well, and they just build up the hype. That's why, like their style that they're trying to portray, they're not really a good style of that mold. It's like a C style of that mold. No,
I agree with that. Like the guys you're naming, like Haney and Shakur, they're trying to emulate a Mayweather, right? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm gonna tell you something,
most boxing fans today, most boxing fans today are post Mayweather era.
I just gonna add. No, I agree with you, and I just gonna add that in that particular case, they're not really both trying to emulate Mayweather, because one of them is trying to emulate Andre Ward. If you've seen Andre Ward how he fights, that's exactly how Shakur fights. The guy who took Shakur, I guarantee was actually Andre Ward.
Hey, look! I don't even know Shakur Stevenson, but I could tell you right now, 3 fighters he watches: Pernell Whitaker, Floyd Mayweather, and Andre Ward. He's a mix of all of them. He's a mix of all of them because he always talks about those 3 fighters. I'm not saying he fights like them. He doesn't fight like them. He doesn't. They don't do that shit he'd be doing. I'm saying those are fighters he watch.
He's
learned from. He tries to copy, like you said, emulate.
Nah, like man, all these guys, man, they talk about Pernell. The closest guy to Pernell is actually Tevin Farmer. None of these guys have like
man,
a good footwork.
Oh, anyways, the guys.
Tevin Farmer is nowhere near Pernell. Tevin Farmer is nowhere near Pernell.
We gotta move on here. But,
it's closer than Shakur. That's for damn sure.
All right, call back again next time. All right, or join the panel. Link, with it's a BDA.
Yeah, call next time, man.
All right,
happy, man.
All right, take care.
Appreciate it.
All right, let's take another phone call here. 210, you're on the air.
What up, guys? Southpaw, man. I didn't know you were on today.
What's up, man? Give us your thoughts on Turkey's comments.
It's a new problem, man, and it's not and I hear what the last guy was saying, and the last guy was onto something. And it's something that we can't really put our thumb on. Where that you're right, I'm wrong. It's a little bit of everything because this is a problem we haven't really had before in boxing. Yeah, I mean, these guys are like Shakur and Devin. They're making, and the guy who just fought Canelo, they're making Floyd Mayweather look like a brawler because they said Floyd Mayweather was a runner. That's what casuals were saying, but he didn't. He would stay in the pocket. He would slip, move, feint, but he would earn respect and land right hands and check left hooks and some solid jabs. So these guys are so bad. They're making Mayweather and Pernell look like killers, like they went in there brawling. But the problem started when they started putting the cart before the horse. You know what I mean? Like when Mayweather was coming up, he had to be a killer. When Andre Ward was coming up, he had to be a killer. When Bernard Hopkins was coming up, he had to go through guys. So with this new era, all these promoters, Al Heyman had his war chest, the Zone Eddie had his war chest, Top Rank had to try to keep up with them. What happened was they put the cart before the horse and they were overpaying these guys, and they don't have really that stock value where people want to see them. They don't have that exciting style. So these guys were entitled to fight however they wanted to fight because they were going to get millions. They were going to get all these ABC belts, because that's another problem. These belts are so watered down now because there's so many of them. But they made these guys into commodities by overpaying them and enabling them to fight this way. So I don't know how Turkey's going to do it. One thing they can do is get the referees to enforce the rules, because one thing we know with Devin always has help from the referee. The referee's going to let him hold. The referee's going to let him do what he wants. The guy ran so hard he broke his shoe. It's crazy. So they're going to have to get the referees involved. And I don't know how they're going to do it with contracts, because you can't really say, oh, if I don't think you fight hard enough, I'm not going to pay you. Like, there's probably going to have to be some serious talks behind closed doors where, like, look, man, we need more action. But when in any era have you ever seen fighters run this much? I've been watching boxing since the mid-'90s. I've never seen fighters run this much. Have y'all?
That's a good point. That's a good question. You're right. It seems like it got worse after Mayweather or during Mayweather. Yeah. Mayweather never really moved his feet the way Devin was. No. Shakur's jumping out of the way. No, I mean, he would stand and slip. He had that shoulder roll, and you know, he's probably the only guy that can pull that off, along with Pernell Whitaker. But even Ward and Bernard Hopkins, who had ugly styles, they would still kind of brawl. They wouldn't really run. You wouldn't never see them like the way De La Hoya was after Trinidad, which pissed me off because I think De La Hoya had that fight in the bag. That's running. Yeah, but he only did it the last couple of. That was running. Yeah, that's what it's looking at. Like,
he only did it, but. Yeah, but he only did it the last couple of rounds. But I've never seen a rash of fighters run and set records the way these guys have in these last few fights. It's crazy because it was the Canelo fight because that guy ran his ass off. He was a track star. It was Shakur who did it versus De Los Santos, and then it was Devin Haney who just did it. So it's crazy. Like, I've never seen this much running, but these guys are getting so overpaid, and they're not really worth the money. They're not really worth the clout. They don't have the fan bases. They didn't really work up in their early career where they're beating guys' asses where they can kind of get away with things like this. But even Floyd didn't even run like this. So it's a new problem, and it's something that I'm happy to hear that Turkey's speaking out. He's putting out a message, and he's the guy with all the money. Everybody wants to be under his wing.
Do you think he's gonna do something more than just post something on X complaining? Do you think how far can he take this?
He has to, man. He has to. I mean, because think about how embarrassing it was. Think about how embarrassed he was at the Canelo fight. He finally brought the cash cow, the face of boxing. I mean, think about how bad the Saudis and all those rich fucks want. They wanted to see Canelo so bad in their backyard. They finally got it, and the guy he fought was just running like for dear life. So he has to, man, because they're not making money. And dude, we're tired of duds, man. It's just not going to work. It's not going to be like Mayweather Pacquiao where it was two shot fighters who really were slow to pull the trigger. These guys are literally moving and moving and moving. So I've never seen fighters fight like this, and it all has to do with entitlement. That's the horse before the cart. That's all I'm saying.
All right. Well, anything else, Southpaw?
No, man. No, but like I said, this is good news, man. I'm happy Turkey's doing it. He's gonna have to get the referees. No more Kenny Baylesses. No more Harvey Docks. No more none of these guys that let guys like Devin Haney get away with the holding and the excessive. Yeah, the excessive running. They're just gonna have to just say, "Hey guys, come on, pick it up." I think one of the referees from New York used to be like that. Mercanti Jr. I think that's his name. I don't know if I got the right guy, but he would tell guys, "Hey, come on, guys, pick it up."
I think so, yeah.
But that's all I got, man.
All right, take care, man. See ya. All right, that was Southpaw. Guys, call in or I'm going to shut the phone lines because we pay for this shit. What else? Anybody else wants to comment on what you've been hearing here?
Well, to piggyback off of what Southpaw was saying about that one referee, and I think he's right, McCarthy Jr., whatever his name was.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I understood boxing. Like the amateur ranks, you couldn't do that shit, bro. And that's the rules of boxing. You know, it's a little different, obviously, because you're wearing headgear and there's a certain point system, but the method is the same. It's like when there's nothing happening, the referee's supposed to tell you, yo, you guys got to pick it up. You see the referees do that sometimes. You know, depends on the fight. If it's like you'll watch a fight where the politics is not really that relevant, you'll see the referee do his job, and if there's no action going on, he'll tell the fighters to pick it up.
Yeah, that's what. I mean, the referee is an important part of the sport. Obviously, he has to play a bigger role. He like you said, he needs to step in. If the guy's running or there's no action, he needs to call it out. Hopefully, Turkey's comments resonate with the judges or with the refs or the boxers, the promoters, because I don't understand. Like, this is what we've been saying for a long time. Some of these fights are fucking boring as fuck, and it's like these promoters don't get it. Oh, well, we gotta put Shakur as the main event. Why do you have to put him in the main event? Sure, he's a champion, or he's a future multi-division champion. I don't know, but he's boring. And it seems like Turkey understood that right away. He's putting him in the undercard now. Well, what if he is some sort of genius?
Yeah, why would you make that his main?
Yeah.
Why would he make that his main event? Why the hell would he do that?
Right. You know why? It's his money or something. I don't know. Maybe, but the promoters also put into. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense why these promoters never understood. That. I think they were afraid of, you know what? Maybe these promoters were afraid of their boxers, of telling them too much what to do. They were afraid of telling, hey, guy, your fight was boring. They don't want to tell him that because then they're afraid that the fighter's going to go to another promotional company or something. But when it comes to Turkey,
they understand personality.
Yeah.
Personality type. Dudes that don't care about what their performance look like in the ring. As long as they get the win, they're the type of guys that they're super sensitive.
Yeah, but I think Turkey doesn't give a fuck. He's just gonna be. You're gonna be in the undercard. No, but I'm Shakur Stevenson. I don't care. Like you're boring.
Yeah, but also I think also Turk doesn't really care, because a lot of times I think these guys also treat these guys like, oh, you racist, oh, you this, oh, you something,
That could be it. The real FUTV says Dana is gonna clean house. Okay, I don't. Oh, come on. You guys think that Dana White's gonna actually do something? I don't know.
Dana White is gonna do what Turkey is tell him to do.
It's confusing. Is he on? Is he off? Is he on? Is he off? Is he doing the promotion or not?
He is promoting. He says he's very happy to be promoting this big fight. blah 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 blah. So he's gonna be involved. Hey guys, what do you think about? We have Crawford and Canelo fighting on Netflix. Meanwhile, we have Pacquiao fighting Barrios on the PBC, $79.
Wait, what? Really?
Yeah, that's $79 on Amazon Prime, I believe. So,
I mean, I would have paid if let's say Pacquiao would have fight like a Butch or something like that. But damn,
yeah, exactly.
Mario Barrios.
Oh, if it was Pacquiao in his prime, I don't mind fucking $80.
Dana is the president.
Hey, Mario Barrios isn't like the worst. Mario Barrios isn't like the worst fighters to ever be like multiple pay-per-views, man.
Yeah,
he's been one with Tank, one with Thurman, and
yeah, now Pacquiao.
Wow, I can't believe the Thurman one was pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember?
So
Pacquiao needs to bring his talents to Netflix.
I'm gonna shut the phone lines.
Well, who's on the card either way?
Hold on. Let me change mic. No, so yeah. So the
Pacquiao card we're
Pacquiao
having-
pay-per-views, $80. Enjoy that, people. $80 fucking dollars.
Or for free if you know how to use a computer.
No, we're law-abiding citizens here. All right.
Well, I'm not.
Okay. I didn't hear that. So somebody told Sheik on Twitter. Somebody said, I couldn't imagine being this rich without being able to form a proper sentence. These people are really mad. They're angry at the Sheik for pointing out that boring fighters are bad for the sport. Can you believe that? These people are taking it personal. These people are angry.
Yeah, what the hell?
Somebody replied to the Sheik. Hey, listen to this. Somebody said, hit and don't get hit is the whole aim of boxing. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Your post suggests that Muhammad Ali did not fight with heart or pride. The fuck, man? Like, what? Why don't they bring up Shakur Stevenson? They have to bring up Muhammad Ali. He's not referring to Muhammad Ali. He's referring to fucking Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney, and these other guys. Disingenuous.
Yeah, I bet it's the same people that Pacquiao had an interview recently where they told him to like name his like the best 5 fighters of his career, and within the 5 he didn't name Mayweather. Then they asked, well, how come not Mayweather? He's like, Mayweather ran. Like, what do you want? Mayweather ran. I remember during the fight.
I still think Pacquiao won that fight.
Me too. Remember during the fight, Mayweather's father.
Literally, statistics tell you who won the fight. You ever seen the numbers? He did land more.
Bro, between the rounds, Mayweather's father
more.
like, you're fighting like a coward.
He was holding. Every time Mayweather's back touched the ropes, he immediately clinched. He did it so many times, but, Kenny Bayless is there, so what he's going to do. He's going to ignore the fucking rules. Kenny Bayless should be arrested. How's that?
Kenny Bayless is always referring Floyd like, he's referring his nephew.
Kenny Bayless,
don't hit Floyd.
Guys, Kenny Bayless refereed Mayweather versus that little Japanese kickboxer. He had to go to Japan to fucking referee that exhibition fight on the request of Mayweather. That's so pathetic.
Insane, bro.
That's so pathetic.
Is there a sadder fighter than Mayweather? Like a more deluded fighter?
Fighter? I don't know.
Probably.
Like, this guy is very deluded. He really does think he's like the best fighter of all time. That's insane.
He was a good fighter, but he's not the best of the best.
I don't think he's even top 10.
Oh no.
Top 30, maybe.
He's
top 30. Yeah.
If you want. He had good reaction timing. He had some attributes, especially the pre-Floyd era Floyd. That was an impressive Floyd. The Floyd at welterweight, forget about it. Scam artist.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair to Floyd, I think he was also like a version of welterweight that he fought like aggressively when he fought against Cotto. He took over at the later rounds because I remember Cotto was taking over like the middle rounds, and I think he ran out of stamina in the latest. I think it was right after that fight he took a lot of fucking punishment, man. That and like he swapped his trainers because I remember he was being trained by his uncle Roger. And then he went into like a more defensive style when he went back to his father. Like it was a drastic change because he was a little bit more aggressive on the Roger.
Mm.
Oh, man, like I remember he took a lot of fucking left hooks from Cotto, man.
Yeah, Cotto was landing. He was also landing a jab. He fucked up his nose. But Floyd, now Cotto, the problem with Cotto is that he would always get tired the second part of the fight. And Floyd, for some reason, he never gets tired. So he managed to step it up, take over the second part of the fight.
What are you implying, Pucho?
Absolutely nothing. I say he has good stamina.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
Do you remember Jim Lampley? Was it Jim Lampley? In the commentary booth, getting mad as hell at Cotto when he was losing the later rounds. Like, why he's not throwing any punches? Oh my god, man, this is embarrassing. He was mad as hell at Cotto, man.
I was mad at Cotto as well. Man. I was mad at Cotto as well. I was watching that fight at a bar, I remember, and everybody was cheering and rooting for Cotto. But unfortunately, again, he got tired. But yeah, no, Floyd took a lot of punishment in that fight. You're right. And then he switched back to being completely defensive minded. What else? All right, guys, maybe we should end the show here. We've been on for a while, so we'll call it a night here. But I want to thank everybody who joined. Guys, thank you for being on the show. I'll see you next time, all right? Take care. All right, people in the chat, thank you for being on the show. Everybody who donated via Super Chat, all the Patreon supporters. Who else? The callers, thank you for participating. We will see you next time. Take care. Oh, check out the Pacquiao video that we just posted. If you haven't watched it, it's reliving Pacquiao versus Keith Thurman. All the trash talk, and then what happened in the fight. All right. Take care.